Thank you. So, let's start today's class. So, before we jump on to the next chapter, there's one correction which I have to make in yesterday's class. While teaching banking sector, I made a mistake yesterday. The interbank deposits are not considered part of money supply. Yesterday by mistake I had said that it is part of money supply. Interbank deposits are not part of money supply. In money supply we have money with public and deposits in the bank. Okay, the idea is the deposit which has gone in the bank would be available to others for loan and it would be part of money supply. But the moment this deposit, this money, as part of interbank deposit gets to another bank, it is not adding to, like, it's not like this bank is giving loan to someone, it's not adding to extra money being made available to people. If this money moves from here to here, here it won't be available. So resultant, this deposit should not be considered part of money supply. Or understand it in this way, if I have 100 rupees, if I'm using 20 rupees for something, I'm depositing 80 rupees in bank, this bank. Now this bank may lend this 80 rupees to someone else and this money may be part of money supply, and that's why this deposit is considered part of money supply. But the moment this bank deposits this money in this bank, then this bank is not left with that money. Okay, so this interbank deposit does not remain part of money supply. Yahan pe this deposit would remain part of money supply, but interbank deposits are not part of money supply. There's this one correction. Okay, I'm really sorry for that. Now let's start today's class. Today's class is on chapter 6 of Economic Survey of India, and it's not a lot about economy, it's about environment, it's about climate change, it's about sustainable development. And we study these things in economy because economic growth would not remain sustainable in case we are not taking care of the environmental problems which are there. Okay, so this chapter of Economic Survey of India can roughly be divided into three broad sections. First, it's talking about SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, and how Indian states are performing in achieving these SDGs. First aspect would be about that. Second would be about pollution, where we'll talk about the issues in groundwater, air pollution, river water pollution. Namami Ganga has been discussed in detail. Then the third part of this chapter is dealing with climate change. So our class would also be roughly following that pattern. We'll first discuss sustainable development goals. So we all know that through a United Nations resolution in 1993, the 2033 agenda for sustainable development was identified, and under this 17 goals were identified. Those were no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth, industry, innovation and infrastructure, reduced inequalities, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and production, climate action, life below water, life on land, peace, justice and strong institution, and partnerships for the goals. ये 17 goals हैं. Now we do not have to cram like कौन से number पे क्या है, but a rough idea, like you should know that clean water and sanitation is goal 6, so that when you're writing an answer about Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, or when you're writing an answer about Har Ghar Nal Se Jal initiative, so you should say that as part of SDG we are supposed to achieve these targets. As part of SDG goal 6 we are supposed to achieve these targets. So ye aapke, like when you will introduce your answer in this manner by quoting the SDG thing, there are chances that you would be getting better marks, because you will be impressing the examiner कि this guy knows कि हमारे overall sustainable development goals में this scheme, this program, where does it fit, and therefore कुछ broad चीजें you should be knowing. For example, life below water or peace, justice and strong institution, partnership for the goals. These are certain initiatives which you should be knowing about. When a question on poverty comes, you should be able to quote ki SDG goal 2 is talking about zero hunger, SDG goal 1 is talking about no poverty. Okay, so yes, 17 goals, SDG goals were something that we have to achieve. And how is India performing towards achieving this goal is the focus of Economic Survey of India. and as per India's SDG India Index and Dashboard. So Niti Aayog measures India's progress towards these goals. How is it measuring this progress? It's measuring progress of each state and उससे इंडिया का टोटल प्रोग्रेस निकल रहा है. तो एज पर SDG इंडिया इंडेक्स, इंडिया's score has improved to 66 in 2020-21 when compared to 60 in 2019-20 and 57 in 2018-19. So we are moving in the right direction here. We are moving in the right direction. In SDG index, our performance is improving. Now, despite COVID-19 pandemic आया, उस time we were not able to invest so much in most of these things other than health and all. Our investment in during COVID-19 was not a lot in these areas. Further, the chances of poverty or hunger being reduced got reduced because COVID-19 would have led to increased poverty or increased hunger. Despite that, India has performed well on 8 of the 15 SDGs. Which of the SDGs? 3, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 15 and 16. So if you will come here, good health and well-being, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, ये हैं हमारे 3, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 15 and 16. Reduced inequalities, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and protection, life on land, and peace, justice and strong institutions. These are 8 goals where India has performed better than the earlier situation. This is what the Economic Survey of India says. Now, मैं आपको कई बार दिखाऊंगा इकोनॉमिक सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया भी समटाइम्स बायस हो जाता है क्योंकि गवर्नमेंट के ही लोग बना रहे हैं तो थोड़ा गवर्नमेंट स्कीम्स प्रोग्राम्स के टुवर्ड्स बायस हो जाता है, बट स्टिल दिस इज समथिंग दैट वी हैव टू यूज इन आवर आंसर्स. Despite COVID-19, there were certain goals towards which we have seen achievement.
So does even also like publish any
country level पे yes it does, but state level पे it does not. In fact, जब हम ये देख रहे हैं SDG India Index and Dashboard 2020-21, SDG India Index, first of all index है तो ranking होगी. You understand that? तो through SDG India Index, Niti Aayog ranks state in terms of their achievement towards these SDG goals. Now आप देखेंगे this SDG India Index and Dashboard 2020-21 is world's first government-led sub-national measure of SDG. Sub-national मतलब state level पे. It is for the first time they are measuring SDG at state level. Like this is first initiative by government which is measuring SDG at the state level. Now, what is the purpose? Why do we want to do that? See, one of the core goals of Niti Aayog is to promote competitive and cooperative federalism. Now, if we want to achieve SDG goals, it is important that our states are also focused on achieving those goals and they are competing with each other to do better and better. And therefore, this SDG index, SDG India Index, ये states को rank करके, states को compete करवा के, is increasing the chances of India achieving SDG goals. Fine. Now, Niti Aayog started this index in 2018. तो 2018 में एक रिपोर्ट आया, 2019-20 में एक रिपोर्ट आया, 2020-21 में एक रिपोर्ट आया. But the things which are included in index have kept on evolving. For the first time, when SDG index was published, it was published on very basic data. Not all the goals were considered, not all the 17 goals were considered. There were, but in second, there were improvement in third, number of goals, number of targets which were considered were much higher. So, if you'll come here, you'll see that in 2018, 13 goals were considered, but in 2019-20 report, 16 goals were considered to rank states, and qualitative analysis on goal 17 was done. Similarly, in third report also 16 goals and qualitative analysis on the goal 17. Goal 17 ना थोड़ा international वाला है, तो states का बहुत सारा रोल नहीं होता है. Now, similarly within goals, if जैसे आपको याद होगा जब हम SDG पढ़ते हैं, when we study SDG, we go for within goals there are smaller targets which are mentioned as SDGs. So Here in the first report only 39 targets were considered, which have come to 70 targets in the latest SDG index. Similarly, number of indicators have increased. Here goal wise ranking on states and UTs were done, but in the latest index we not only have ranking, but they have also provided through this SDG index, they are also providing profiles of each state, detailed analysis within each state. So this is through this table, Economic Survey of India is trying to tell you that even Niti Aayog's method of measuring SDG index or ranking states is evolving. Earlier it was based on very limited data, now it has expanded onto more data. Yahan pe through these 5 points, Economic Survey of India is telling you why is it important, why SDG index is important. So goal wise ranking de raha hai, it promotes competition among states, it supports states UTs in identifying priority areas. When states would know ki in this particular goal we are not doing well, it will help state to identify those areas, enable states UTs to learn from peers, cooperative federalism, and highlights gaps in statistical system also. Okay, how have states performed in the latest SDG index? How have states performed in latest SDG index? देखिए, under this index, states were categorized into multiple categories based on their scores. For example, states whose score was between 65 and 99 were called front runners. States whose scores were 65 से कम were called performers. अब देखेंगे, states whose score were between 50 to 64, 65 से कम, 50 to 64, they were called performers. States whose score, states could have scored less than 50 also, they also were given names like aspirational states and all, but अभी उसकी जरूरत नहीं है, because this time all Indian states are either in the front runner category or in the performer category. So front runner or performer category, that is all of them have scores above 50. 50 to 64 mein what do we have? Performer. 65 to 99 mein we have front runner. So all of us, all the states in India have now achieved at least the score of 50 in SDG index. Now which is the best performing state? Kerala with a score of 75 is the best performing state in the SDG index. तो देखो, politics के लिए politicians may say anything like Yogi ji wants that Kerala should become like UP. नहीं ऐसा नहीं बोलते हैं. तो बट अगर यूपी केरला बन जाएगा उस चीज से थ्रेट है, तो केरला का सिचुएशन बहुत अच्छा है एज पर नीति आयोग डेटा इन टर्म्स ऑफ द 17 गोल्स, राइट. तो फॉर पॉलिटिक्स पीपल में से समथिंग, बट एज पर गवर्नमेंट डेटा केरला इज द बेस्ट परफॉर्मिंग स्टेट in India. Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Himachal Pradesh, these are the best performing ones. आप सबसे खराब देखेंगे तो बिहार, झारखंड, Assam, but all of them have done better than what they were doing in the last report. देखो सबका पॉजिटिव है, सबका पॉजिटिव है. ओके, तो बेस्ट परफॉर्मिंग स्टेट्स केरला, तमिलनाडु, हिमाचल प्रदेश. बेकार स्टेट बिहार, झारखंड, असम, वही एक ही एरिया के सारे स्टेट्स. उसके ऊपर जाओगे उत्तर प्रदेश, तो उत्तर प्रदेश जाओ, बिहार जाओ, नीचे झारखंड, वेस्ट बंगाल को थोड़ा छोड़ के उधर चले जाओगे तो यू विल गो टू असम. These are the states which are not doing well. Fine. Now one more thing that you should notice, which is the state which has done the best, which has improved the most, So if you'll come here, you'll see Mizoram has given +12 result. Its SDG index score has improved by +12. Haryana ka +10. So this is also something that you should note carefully, which has performed better than, whose score has improved the most. So Mizoram, Haryana, and then I think double digit में और कोई नहीं है, Uttarakhand with a score of +8 are the most improved states also. Okay, now India का score 66 है. Most of the front runner states are above that score. Only Tripura's score is 65. 65 पे भी आप front runner रहते हैं, but it's not above India's average. All these performer states are doing below India's average in this ranking. Okay. Sir, insolvency हाँ insolvency हम करेंगे. Insolvency will do. Second part of the class में करने की कोशिश करते हैं insolvency. Okay, तो SDG India Index latest जो report आई है उसमें which is the best performing state, which is the worst performing state, what is the average score of India, which are front runner states, which are performer states. ये मतलब not the list of states, it's difficult to remember list of states, but which state would be considered front runner, which state would be considered performer, you should know about that. Now among UTs, India score is 66. UT में आएंगे आप चंडीगढ़, पुदुचेरी, लक्षद्वीप, दिल्ली, अंडमान निकोबार, जम्मू एंड कश्मीर एंड लद्दाख, they are all in the front runner category. Only one UT, Dadar and Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu are in the performer category because its score is less than 65. 50 से 64 वाले performer में जा रहे हैं. तो चंडीगढ़, पुदुचेरी, लक्षद्वीप. But if you look at the most improvement, Chandigarh, Delhi and Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh. Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh को recently rank करना शुरू किया because earlier it was in the list of states. Now it is being listed separately as this. Then look at this index. Look at this SDG goal. SDG goal 14. What is the SDG goal 14? Life below water. So those states which are coastal states, उनको separately, especially इस चीज पे rank किया, इस पे performance देखा था. Like in every state you will find rivers and all, so life below water or biodiversity aspects would be there, but for coastal states, measuring their performance on this index become important, and therefore SDG index, Niti Aayog has also come up with a separate ranking for them. Performance of 9 coastal states on SDG 14, life below water. And the best performing states are Odisha and Andhra Pradesh. Tamil Nadu is not even in the, and Tamil Nadu's performance is the worst. And this you can remember from the fact that Tamil Nadu, Sri Lanka fishery dispute mein one of the factor is our fishermen tend to cross on the other side because we have depleted our fishery resources. अभी हम इंडिया श्रीलंका किस दिन पढ़ेंगे. One major reason always this fishermen issue emerges is that our fishermen cross the maritime border, go on the other side, because on this side of the border, because of deep trawling, we have destroyed the biodiversity, we have destroyed the fishery population, and poor performance of Tamil Nadu in this goal is indication of that. So Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, these states are doing so well, Tamil Nadu is doing so badly here. Fine. So ye again less chances are there that UPSC would ask something like this, but kabhi bhi kuch bhi पूछ लेते हैं. So we should always be having slight idea. Economic Survey of India में दिया है तो it would not be something जो random कहीं से पूछ लिया. Economic Survey of India has clearly mentioned this. So you should be having slight idea कि okay, Odisha is doing well, Andhra Pradesh is doing well, Tamil Nadu is the worst performing. Remembering all 9 states and their order is not feasible. अपने logic educated guess use करो कि उड़ीसा में coastal region में there are lot of protected areas, there are lots of schemes, programs which run for protecting biodiversity there. On that basis, Odisha has been given very high rank. But best performing states भी are on the east coast, worst performing state is also on the east coast, Tamil Nadu. Right. Now, northeastern region require special focus in terms of achieving SDG goals. Northeastern region have remained economically also alienated, culturally also alienated. So it's important that वहाँ पे ज़्यादा detail level पे we go and analyze achievement of SDG goals. So for northeastern region, एक तो state level पे data is given, but Niti Aayog has come up with northeastern region district SDG index, where they are ranking districts of 8 northeastern states. हम सिक्किम को भी include कर रहे हैं, districts of 8 northeastern states in terms of their performance on the SDG index. Here you'll see, if you look at performing, scores of 103 district range from 75.87 of East Sikkim to 53 in Kifiri, Nagaland. तो इससे हमें क्या समझ में आया? They are all in the front runner और performer category. Best score is what? 75. इंडिया का, केरला का भी 75 स्कोर है. The best district is the East Sikkim district, whose score is 75. The worst performing district is Kifiri district of Nagaland, whose score is 53. Okay, if you look at some of the states, look at this state, Tripura. सभी हरा हरा है. All the states are in front runner category. So there are 64 districts in the front runner category. All districts of Sikkim and Tripura. ऊपर सिक्किम में भी होगा. Sikkim. All districts of Sikkim and Tripura are in the front runner category, whereas districts like in other states there are some districts which are not in the front runner category, which are in the performer category. For example, Meghalaya में देखो ज़्यादातर districts, most of the districts are in performer category only. Nagaland, most of the districts are in performer category only. Right? So these are different indexes provided by Niti Aayog under their SDG index and dashboard thing. एक तो country level पे data, उसमें state level, UT level, then 9 coastal states for their performance on goal 14, and then we have northeastern region का the district वाला data. Fine, this is clearly understood. Okay. Now Dikshit is asking how we performed better in reducing inequality. He has a genuine question. He said, how are you saying inequality has gone down? That's why I keep telling you that sometimes the data which is being published by Niti Aayog may not be telling us the situation on the ground level, but they would be using metrics like during COVID-19 government ensured that all the poor people would be getting food, extra food free of cost. For them, various monetary benefits were made available for weaker section of the society. Under Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, for women certain money was given, for elderly money was given, for disabled money was provided. So by using those methods and by उसका implementation कितना ground पे हुआ कितना नहीं हुआ different हो जाता है. But by using these methods, Niti Aayog has come up with this data. We will not criticize it for now. Please understand, our purpose here is to go through economic survey of India. जब हम इन टॉपिक्स को when we'll study inequality as a topic in social justice, there we'll talk about all the problems which are there with the government data. How should that improve? Right now, our focus is finishing our economic survey of India, whatever is given in there. Girdhar Semineni is asking, sir, can you explain the difference between core inflation and refined core inflation? He's talking about the very first lecture that we took. तो देखो, core inflation में we measure inflation by removing food and fuel things, because food और fuel के prices बहुत fluctuate होते हैं. That does not determine that is not actually representing correct picture of how inflation is moving. But even if we remove food and fuel, in CPI index in the miscellaneous section we have transport wala ek section, and as fuel prices go up, transport prices would also go up. So in refined core inflation we even remove this transport wala section. Okay, Girdhar ji, if you haven't understood this, remind this to me at the end of the class. I'll write certain things and will explain. अभी मैंने आपको ऊपर से बताने की कोशिश करी है in the hope that you would understand it like this. Now, sir, any specific reason for providing district-wise SDG for NER? बताया ना आपको? Northeast region पे we need special focus. Okay, now come to the environment section. उसमें सबसे पहले we are talking about forest. Now, largest forest area countries. So first of all, what is forest area? Please differentiate between forest area and forest cover. Forest area, यहाँ पे जैसे forest area is that area which the government has declared as forest. उसमें एक भी पेड़ ना हो, फिर भी even if there is not a single tree in that area, if the government has declared that area to be forest, that would be considered part of forest area. And forest area, so this is something that has been mentioned here. Forest area refers to area recorded as forest in government records. It's also referred as recorded forest area. Government records में जिन areas को हमने forest बोला हुआ है, that is forest area. It's also called recorded forest area. And as per India State of Forest Report, though it's talking about India, but it's also giving you global data. These are the countries which have the largest area under forest or largest forest areas. Russia is the largest country in the world, and there are lots of coniferous forest there. So Russia is the country which has highest forest area, followed by Brazil, Canada, USA, China and Australia. If you'll notice carefully, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, these are also the countries whose area is higher than India. In terms of size, what is the rank of India? 7th. These are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are the countries whose size is larger than India. But this is not the right order. Right? Brazil is not larger than Canada or USA. Brazil बाद में आएगा. But one thing that you can remember is which are the countries which have more forest area than India. So first 6 countries, or which are the countries which have highest forest area. First 6 countries are those countries which also have the largest area. Right? Then Democratic Republic of Congo, Indonesia, Peru. ये 3 countries आती हैं. Then comes India. India is ranked 10th here. India has the 10th largest area under forest, or India has declared 10th largest area as forest area. These countries, if you'll notice carefully, are tropical countries. So even though they are smaller than India, they have lots of tropical forest and lots of area under forest cover, and thus would be having overall more area. Now by logic you will also be able to guess this. India's percentage of area that is under forest cover. Percentage of area, India का total area में से जितना area forest cover के अंदर है, that would be lesser than these 3 countries, because these 3 countries are smaller than India but still have larger area under forest cover. So by percentage, like percentage of area which is under forest cover, or which is under forest area of any country, these three countries would definitely be doing better than India. So देखो, remembering these 10 countries is not difficult. Of these 10 countries, 6 तो इंडिया से बड़ी वाली countries हैं. Then DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo, Indonesia and Peru. Dip. 6 countries, dip, and then comes India.
DRC is a sub-Saharan country. How can its area?
How does Democratic Republic of DRC is a tropical country. It's located on the equator. आप देखिए DRC से पास होता है इक्वेटर. घनघोर जंगल है यहां. सहारा ट्रॉपिक ऑफ कैंसर के पास, सहारा डेजर्ट, वहां पे आप देखेंगे डेजर्ट वाला एरिया है. फाइन. नाउ डू ऑल ऑफ यू रिमेंबर दिस ऑर्डर फॉर नाउ? डू ऑल ऑफ यू डू दैट? अब देखिए रशिया, कैनेडा, यूएसए, चाइना would anyways, because they have the largest areas, this order would have been logical. But Brazil, because it's located in tropical area, it has Amazon forest. In terms of forest cover, ये पहले आ जाता है. Otherwise, the order is also roughly correct here. Fine. So at least now you people know the 10 countries which have the highest forest cover. Rough order भी पता है. रशिया, ब्राजील पता है. 6th पे ऑस्ट्रेलिया है, ये पता है. कनाडा, यूएसए, चाइना, CUC. Right? Canada is also located in the northern hemisphere, जहां पे उसका north part पूरा coniferous forest से covered है, similar to Russia's. Now top 10 countries by forest area as percentage of the total geographical area. Of the total geographical area, how much area is forest area? Brazil 59, Peru 57, DRC 56, Russia 50, Indonesia 49, Canada, USA, India, China and Australia. तो यहाँ पे India comes at 8th rank in terms of percentage of area that is under forest cover. India में roughly 24% of India's area is under forest area, roughly 24%. Fine. This Brazil, you can understand this. Brazil is not the largest or top 3-4 rank में भी नहीं आता area wise, but they, in terms of forest area, it has second rank. Why? Because percentage of Brazil which is covered by forest is highest, 59%. Peru, DRC, in spite of being smaller than India, they had, or Peru, DRC or Indonesia, in spite of being smaller than India in size, they had more forest area because their percentage of area which is under forest cover is pretty high. Even Russia is the country which has highest forest area, not only because it has very large area, a large percentage of Russia, 50% of Russia is under forest area. There are 4 countries in the world, Brazil, Peru, DRC and Russia, which has 50% of their area under forest, in the definition of forest. Now, पता है, कई बार it's nature which will determine how successful, like if in terms of resources, Russia would have lots of resources. छोटा सा population है, इतना बड़ा country है, mineral resources वगैरह हैं, natural resources, it has immense amount of natural resources, right? तुम भी जान ले लो मेरी. ये order भी याद नहीं रखना है, but 4 countries whose more than 50% area is under forest cover, this we should know. Brazil, DRC, Peru and Russia. DRC, Peru तो ऐसे भी याद रख सकते हो कि small country but still very large forest cover, larger forest cover than India. Russia, try to remember it in this context that I said that Russia in future would also, in spite of not doing well technologically and all, would remain an important player in the world because it has very large area and a lot of resources. Brazil तो हमें पता ही, Brazil has second largest area under forest cover and largest percentage of area under forest cover. Fine. Now, in terms of net gain, India was ranked 10 in terms of total area. India was ranked 8th in terms of percentage of area, but in terms of overall gain between 2010 and 2020, India is ranked 3rd. सबसे ज़्यादा gain China में हुआ है forest area का, then Australia and then India. Here you will see that countries like Russia or Brazil, they are not fitting in here. They are not here because they have so much forest area, they have so much resources, they are still like okay in deforestation. That's not the case with India. So in terms of net gain, India is ranked 3rd. India में 0.38% of its land, if you see average annual net gain as percentage of 2010 forest area, तो 2010 में जितना forest area था, on an average 0.38% we have grown every year. Not of the total area, but of the forest area. Of forest area का 0.38% we have grown every year, but in case of China, they have grown by 0.93. China में growth is much larger. Similarly, if you will come to Vietnam, the growth is much larger. Chile, the growth is much larger. The rate of growth is much larger. Okay, but in terms of net gain in the last 10 years, India is ranked 3. This is also something that you will be able to understand. Now, come to forest cover of India. अच्छा, forest area and forest cover में थोड़ा सा difference है. Forest area, the area which has been declared as forest area by governments. That area would be forest area whether there are trees there or not. For example, let's say this is a large area where here we have very dense canopy, that is we have lots of trees here, but for many kilometers this place is desert. But if government has declared this whole area as forest area, then even this desert without any vegetation would be included in the definition of forest area. But forest cover works in a different way. What is forest cover? In forest cover, we look at the canopy density. So, I am taking the top view of the land. एक land का मैं top view दिखा रहा हूँ आपको. Here, if you look at the tree would appear like this. Canopy of the tree would appear like this. एक tree का canopy, canopy of other tree, canopy of third tree, canopy of fourth tree, and so on. So, for an area to be considered part of forest cover, two conditions have to be satisfied. One, it should be at least 1 hectare in size. In area, it should be at least 1 hectare. Two, its canopy density should be more than 10%. That is, let's say, ये हमने 10 हेक्टेयर का एक लैंड लिया, इसे कंसिडर करना है whether it should be defined as, it should be included in the definition of forest cover or not. So here, do you all understand what is canopy of the tree? Chhatri of the tree. Agar sun is on top, in how much area will there be no sunlight? Right below the tree, right below the canopy of the tree. So total area and canopy ka area. Canopy should be at least 10%. Then it would be considered as part of forest cover. So, you may have a plantation in your field, in your agricultural field. You may be growing amrud or you may be growing mango. That's your personal land. But if it's more than 1 hectare and the canopy cover is more than 10%, it will be considered as part of forest cover, not forest area. Because वो आपका personal land है, government has not declared it to be forest. It will be considered forest cover, not forest area. At the same time, government may have declared this whole area as forest area, but for thousands of hectares there is no canopy cover here. So this is forest area but not forest cover. This part will not be considered in the definition of forest cover. Do we understand this? Forest area, forest cover के बीच में difference is clear. So forest area, what government has defined or what government has listed as, this area is forest area, this area is forest area, their canopy cover does not matter. When we are talking about forest cover, there we are saying any area which is more than 1 hectare in size and has canopy cover of more than 10%. So now forest cover can also be segregated into 3 categories. If the canopy cover is more than 70%, if the canopy cover is more than 70%, this is called very dense forest. If the canopy is less than 70, if the canopy cover is less than 70 but more than 40, and if the canopy cover is less than 40 but more than 10. 10 से तो ज़्यादा होना ही पड़ेगा. 10 से ज़्यादा. So in these 3 categories we divide forest cover. Okay, so if you'll come here, it's mentioned in your notes. Very dense forest, all land with tree canopy density of 70% and above. Moderately dense forest, tree canopy density between 40 to 70%, and open forest where all lands with tree canopy density between 10 to 40%. Now what happens to that forest area? Forest area matlab government has declared an area to be forest area, but its canopy density is less than 10. What happens to them? They are part of forest area but not part of forest cover. They are called shrublands and these kind of names are given to them. उनके छोटे मोटे shrubs होंगे, they may not have tree and canopy cover here. Fine, this is clearly understood. Difference between forest area and forest cover. We may study it again within a month when we are covering environment. In environment, जब हम plant biodiversity पे आते हैं तो we study it in more detail, but Economic Survey of India has mentioned it. You should understand it here only. There, I'll skip it. मैं notes में डाल दूंगा, but I'll skip those portions because you would understand it here only. Now, India's total forest cover was 7,13,718 square kilometer. What is India's total area? 3.28 million square kilometer or 32. 3.28 million is 32 lakh. 32 lakh, 32.8 lakh square kilometer. Uska roughly 7 lakh. 7 4s are 28, 7 5s are 35. तो 20-25% के बीच में area is under forest cover. So in 2000, today the total forest cover that we have is 21.71% of India's area. But forest area that we have is around 24%. Please see the difference. Forest cover is only those areas which is at least 1 hectare in size and has 10% से ज़्यादा canopy cover. The total forest cover that we have is 21.71%. Now, this used to be 21.05% in 2011. तो 21.05 का 3% निकालोगे आप तो roughly you'll get 0.6. उतना बढ़ गया है. 3% of the forest cover. In last 10 years, we have seen 3% increase in the forest cover. From 21.05%, it has gone to 21.71%. We have seen 3% increase in this area. This area, इसका 3% increase करोगे तो you'll come here. Not of the whole area. Whole area के करते तो आप 21 से 24 पे आ जाते 3% increase करने पे. Please see the difference. तो from 2010, between 2010 and 2020, we have seen our forest cover increase by 3% of the forest cover, not 3% of the area of India. Please understand the difference. This is clear. This is well understood by all of you. Now, of this 21.71%, or of this growth of 3.14%, very dense forest grew by 19.54%. जितना हमारा very dense forest is much lesser, उसमें we have seen a growth of 19.54%. Open forest have also seen an improvement of 6.71%. It is moderately dense forest which have declined by 4.32%. Now you will be feeling like, sir, it's good. Very dense forest area cover is increasing. That's a good thing. Now this is something which makes me unhappy about Economic Survey of India. Economic Survey of India has given data which is only giving you positive picture. It doesn't tell you कि very dense forest का जो growth हुआ है, that is not because in forest area density of forest has increased. It's because in agricultural field people have moved to कीनू प्लांटेशन एंड दोस काइंड ऑफ थिंग. एंड जब आप अपने खेत में कीनू के पेड़ लगाओगे तो बहुत डेंसली लगाओगे तो you'll have 70. So that because of that this thing our very dense forest का percentage has gone up. But if you'll go to green wash area, forest में green wash area, like areas which are pretty green, their density has not increased. So when we'll study India State of Forest Report, we'll get into these aspects more. But did you understand this? As per State of Forest Report, India State of Forest Report, which has been quoted by Economic Survey of India, very dense forest. What are very dense forest? We understand. Very dense forest between 2011 and 2021 in this 10 year have increased by 19%, by around 19%. Open forests have also improved. It is moderately dense forests which have gone down. Now understand this, moderately dense forest going down, they will, अगर वहां का पेड़ काटोगे तो it will become open forest. Right? So moderately dense forest is the type of forest whose overall cover is decreasing in the country. ये चीज को भी हमें थोड़ा ध्यान रखेंगे. Okay, now let's go to this is something that we are talking about. Very dense forest has increased by 20%, moderately dense forest has decreased, and open forest has increased by 7% roughly. देखो ये 19% था, roughly 20%, 20%, 4% and 7%, and overall we have seen an increase of only 3% because most of the forests that we have, highest amount of forests that we have are of moderately dense category. और यहाँ पे we have seen decrease. यहाँ पे we have seen 20% increase, but its percentage in overall forest cover is very less. So even if very dense forest increase by 20%, overall contribution in growth is very less. Now, top 5 states in India by forest cover. States which have highest forest cover in India: Madhya Pradesh, Arunachal, Chhattisgarh, Odisha and Maharashtra. मैं इसे ऐसे याद रखता हूं, लास्ट ईयर भी बताया था. क्या था, कौन बताएगा? माचो मराठी. माचो मैन होता है ना जैसे, ऐसे माचो मैन. मध्य प्रदेश, अरुणाचल प्रदेश, छत्तीसगढ़, उड़ीसा एंड महाराष्ट्र. दिस क्वेश्चन वाज आस्क्ड इन prelims 2019 I guess. वो अरेंज द स्टेट्स इन टर्म्स ऑफ देयर फॉरेस्ट कवर ऐसे करके एक क्वेश्चन पूछा था. तो knowing this shortcut macho marathi was enough, right? This is clear. Now understand the logic behind it. Why A is Arunachal Pradesh and not Andhra Pradesh? See, northeastern region have very dense forest cover, they have very good forest cover. At the same time Arunachal Pradesh has large area also. अरुणाचल प्रदेश का एरिया भी ज्यादा है, फॉरेस्ट कवर भी 50% से ऊपर है. It becomes important here. Madhya Pradesh is Madhya Pradesh the largest state in the country? Which is the largest state? Rajasthan. But Rajasthan desert है, फॉरेस्ट कवर होने के चांसेस कम है. Which is the second largest state? मध्य प्रदेश. और मध्य प्रदेश में जंगल भी है, बगल में छत्तीसगढ़ भी है. तो लॉजिकली ऑल्सो यू कैन think certain things. So Madhya Pradesh, Arunachal Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Maharashtra. This order is something that you should remember, that you should not forget. अभी मैंने कुछ भी याद करने को नहीं बोला, but this is something जो पूछ लिया जाता है. And this is the shortcut. Macho जो भी pronunciation होता है, This is how I remember it. आप कैसे भी याद रख सकते हैं. Right? मैं इतनी बार पढ़ा भी चुका हूं कि मुझे वैसे भी याद है, but if I forget it, like yesterday when I was compiling these notes, मैंने कहा क्या होता था इसका हमारे मराठी. I remember that. तो उससे मुझे याद था ये. So this is something that can help you in understanding this. But look at an interesting thing. Very dense forest कहाँ पे सबसे ज्यादा है? अरुणाचल प्रदेश. Overall total amount of forest is higher in Madhya Pradesh, but Madhya Pradesh does not have a lot of very dense forest. Is only 7 here, which is 21 here. Forest cover in 1000 square kilometer, so 7000 square kilometer. Here we have 21,000 square kilometer. Fine. एक और इंटरेस्टिंग चीज देखो, मध्य प्रदेश हैज ओनली 25% ऑफ इट्स एरिया अंडर फॉरेस्ट कवर, विच इन अरुणाचल प्रदेश इज 79%. Percentage of area under forest cover. Fine. Top 5 states by percent of state geographical area under forest cover. Top 5 states by percentage of geographical area of that under forest cover. ये भी याद रखना है. Okay, here please note they're talking about states, and that's why they have not included Andaman and Nicobar and Lakshadweep. Their union territories. Lakshadweep has highest forest cover, 90%. Andaman and Nicobar also has more than 81% of its area under forest cover. ये दोनों चीजें हैं यहाँ पे, but we are not including them as their UTs. But अगर ये पूछा जाता, arrange the following states and union territories in terms of their percentage forest area, or in terms of that percentage of area under forest cover, तो जिनका percentage ज्यादा है उसमें you would have put Lakshadweep पहले, फिर would have come Mizoram 84% and then Andaman. Okay, how do I remember it? देखो दो तरीके हैं याद रखने के. एक, if you have to remember including UT, तो मैंने जैसे lucky ma'am got money land, ऐसे like lucky Lakshadweep ma'am got money, MONEY का मनी, मणिपुर एंड नागालैंड का लैंड. दिस इज हाउ आई रिमेंबर इट कि लक्षद्वीप, मिजोरम हैज द हाईएस्ट, वो याद रखना है ना, मिजोरम, अंडमान, अरुणाचल प्रदेश एंड मेघालय, फिर मणिपुर एंड नागालैंड. और अगर लकी नहीं डालना है तो मैम गॉट मनी लैंड. मैम में सबसे पहला मिजोरम, अरुणाचल, फिर मेघालय, मनी एंड नागालैंड. ओके, यहां पे विल रिमूव व्हाट, लक्षद्वीप एंड अंडमान. विल रिमूव लक्षद्वीप एंड अंडमान. दीक्षित इज आस्किंग सर व्हाट आर डीम्ड फॉरेस्ट. भाई डीम्ड फॉरेस्ट पढ़ेंगे ना अभी. I'll explain you डीम्ड फॉरेस्ट पूरा डिटेल में. ऐसे समझ लो, ये ना कभी कभी लोग ना नॉलेज टेस्ट कर रहे होते हैं कि इस टीचर को पता है या नहीं. देखो डीम्ड फॉरेस्ट क्या होता है. देयर आर एरियाज इन स्टेट्स which have very high canopy cover and everything, but still that state has not declared that area to be forest area. So people went to court. ये तो cheating है. आप उस एरिया को फॉरेस्ट, you are not declaring that forest area and you are exploiting the natural resources and you are damaging the environment. So a concept of deemed forest was brought कि officially on papers it's not declared to be forest, but they would be deemed to be forest, and there also those restrictions which would be imposed, which are imposed on forest areas, but it's not relevant for things that we are studying right now, so ऐसे हम divert नहीं होंगे. Okay, I hope Dikshit you have understood, you have got your doubt clear. नहीं भी हुआ है तो कोई बात नहीं. We'll come to environment, biodiversity and climate change में we will study all these things in reserve forest क्या होता है, deemed forest क्या होता है, we'll study all those things. But these orders are clear. पक्का सबको समझ में आ रहा है, कोई डाउट नहीं है. You'll be able to tell me states in India which has the highest forest area. You'll be able to tell me states which have highest percentage of forest area. You'll also be able to tell me states and union territories which have highest percentage of forest area. Which is the state or UT which has highest forest cover in India? Lakshadweep, more than 90%. And which is the state which has highest forest cover? Mizoram. ये दो चीजें याद रखो, it will be very helpful. अच्छा, states in India which will not have or will have negligible forest cover. Guess करो लो. पंजाब, हरियाणा, क्योंकि वहां जंगल होने के चांसेस, एग्रीकल्चरल वो लैंड है, और ये भी होने की चांसेस कम है. बट इन कमिंग ईयर्स यू मे सी दैट definition, because of the definition that we used for forest cover, as in Haryana and Punjab, quinoa cultivation or guava cultivation or these things increase, you will see forest cover going up. Like very recently नहीं यार, अब बहुत दिन हो गए, 2014 में I was working then. नहीं, वर्क तो मैं अभी भी करता हूँ. I was मैं सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर वाला काम करता था. तो मैं अपने एक दोस्त की शादी में गया था हनुमानगढ़, दिल्ली से हनुमानगढ़. वी वेंट बाय अ कैब एंड रास्ते में वी सॉ मेनी कीनू प्लांटेशंस इन हरियाणा. ग्रोइंग ऑफ कीनू इज बिकमिंग वेरी कॉमन. अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल आर ग्रोइंग इट. तो उससे ग्रीनरी भी बढ़ रही है एरिया की. दैट मे हैपन, बट राइट नाउ दोज वुड बी द स्टेट्स व्हिच विल हैव लीस्ट फॉरेस्ट कवर. हरियाणा, पंजाब, somewhat Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, plain alluvial plains, chances of forest cover would be very less. Okay. Top 5 states by very dense forests. Very dense forest अगर आप देखना चाहते हैं तो which states have the highest very dense forest? अरुणाचल प्रदेश, वो तो हमें वैसे भी समझ में आ रहा है. देन महाराष्ट्र, उड़ीसा, छत्तीसगढ़, मध्य प्रदेश. यहां पे इफ यू नो अरुणाचल प्रदेश वुड कम फर्स्ट, देन इफ यू नो दैट, उसके बाद माचो महाराष्ट्र को रिवर्स कर दो. मध्य प्रदेश, अरुणाचल तो सबसे पहले है, मध्य प्रदेश, छत्तीसगढ़, उड़ीसा एंड महाराष्ट्र. In terms of very dense forest, which are the states which have highest very dense forest? तो अरुणाचल प्रदेश तो हमें पता है has the highest very dense forest. फिर उस वाले पुराने वाले में माचो महाराष्ट्र किया था, मध्य प्रदेश, अरुणाचल. तो अरुणाचल प्रदेश we have added here and उस माचो महाराष्ट्र को रिवर्स कर दो. महाराष्ट्र सबसे पहले डालो, उड़ीसा, छत्तीसगढ़ एंड मध्य प्रदेश. Is it simple? Not that complicated. Fine. Now, forest cover in 7 major cities and how it has changed between 2011 and 2021. 7 major cities: Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Chennai, Delhi, Hyderabad, Kolkata, Mumbai. They have listed it in the order of, in the alphabetical order. Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Chennai, Delhi, Hyderabad, Kolkata, Mumbai. You'll see in some states, in some cities, we see a decline in forest cover. Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Kolkata, we see decline. In some, we see a lot of improvement. Chennai, Delhi, Hyderabad. Hyderabad में देखो 146% improvement हुआ है. And Mumbai, these are the states where we see some improvements. Composition of forest cover in major cities. अब major cities में very dense forest होने के chances कम हो जाएंगे. तो in composition also you will see like very dense forest यहाँ है ही नहीं. अहमदाबाद में, बेंगलुरु में, चेन्नई में, हैदराबाद में, कोलकाता में, मुंबई में. They do not have very dense forest. Only city to have very dense forest is Delhi. देख रहे हैं? 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And I'm surprised कि even in Mumbai they don't have it. In Mumbai they have these national parks, ना? IT Bombay के around Sanjay Gandhi National Park and all, वहाँ पे भी they do not have very dense forest वाला situation. Okay. Pattern how forest cover is varying in different parts. Sir, when current affairs batch for 2023 will start? Right after prelims. June 5 को prelims है, June 15 को. अरे नहीं, ये बच्चा अभी सेकेंड ईयर कॉलेज में होगा भाई, इसलिए सोच रहा है कि मैं अच्छा पढ़ाता हूँ तो मेरे से पढ़ना चाहेगा. आप हंस रहे हो. अंकित, they are all laughing because they are assuming कि you should prepare for this year's exam only. But वो अभी एलिजिबल ही नहीं होगा. राइट. फॉरेस्ट कवर थिंग इज डन. गो आफ्टर यू गो होम, एक बार ध्यान से हर चीज को पढ़ना. यू विल सी दैट जो स्टेट ऑफ फॉरेस्ट रिपोर्ट होता है ना, उससे जनरली वी आर एबल टू सॉल्व वन क्वेश्चन एवरी ईयर, बी इट अबाउट द परसेंटेज ऑफ फॉरेस्ट, और एक क्वेश्चन हो ही जाता है. बी इट अबाउट कंट्रीज विथ द लार्जेस्ट एरिया अंडर फॉरेस्ट कवर. इनफैक्ट ये वाला सवाल, ये वाला नॉलेज भी ना कि विच इज द कंट्री विच हैज हाईएस्ट फॉरेस्ट कवर हैज बीन यूजफुल इन अटेम्प्टिंग क्वेश्चन इन लास्ट 2-3 years. क्योंकि whatever knowledge I have, when I look at the paper, हाँ इसमें तो ये definitely गलत है, ये सही है. Whatever knowledge that I have, I give it to you in every batch. तभी वो बहुत सारा notes होता है, इन सारी चीजें होती है. तो That's why I keep assuring you that basic books and whatever we are doing in current affairs will complete your preparation. Supplement this with tests, solving MCQs, doing test. इसमें भी 1500 MCQs I am promising you. Environment के 500 MCQs, science के 500 MCQs, economy के 500 MCQs, we will do as part of your target prelims program. Even if we do not go on YouTube, as part of your current affairs program, we will definitely do it. ये 1500 questions तो हम करेंगे ही क्लास में, other than the weekly test you are having. तो you promise me, you assure me that basic books of history, geography, polity, economy. Lakshmikant, basics of economy, NCRTs and history का जो भी source आप use कर रहे हैं. You prepare them properly and you go through, study properly the things that you are getting in your classes. You will clear preliminary examination. No matter where UPSC gives its question from. कुछ अजीबोगरीब देगा तो कोई नहीं कर पाएगा, टेंशन लेना ही नहीं है. तो streamline your preparation in an effective manner. For example, the next test that you have, in next test you have complete economy ka test where the basics is also there and entire economic survey of India is there. You ensure that in next test your basic fundamental concepts of economy are, by next Sunday your basic fundamental concepts of economy are very strong. You have done entire economic survey of India, just the notes, पूरा economic survey of India जो notes में आपको दिया गया है वो कर लिया है. You will yourself realize that in exam there are 15 to 20 questions that you are ready to solve. Economy से 20 to 25 questions आते हैं, उसमें से 15 to 20 questions are from the basics and the economic survey of India. They are already ready to solve. You will already be ready to solve 20 questions in the examination. Next week 28th February से पहले हम साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी पूरा कवर कर रहे हैं. आई एम अश्योरिंग यू दैट. चाहे वो 6-6 घंटे की क्लास लेके करना पड़े, कैसे भी करना पड़े. बट once that is done, 15 questions of exam you are ready to solve. Fine. तो देखो 20 questions of economy, साइंस के 15 नहीं मानते, चलो 12 ही मानते हैं. By the end of February you should be like 32 questions of exam के लिए मैं prepared हूं पूरा. बाकी हिस्ट्री वगैरह भी तो पढ़ रहे हो ना असाइनमेंट में जो मिल रहा है उससे. तो keep preparing those things, go according to the test. मैंने जो आपको टेस्ट में सिलेबस दे रहे हैं वो करिए. जिस दिन इकोनॉमी पूरी हो जाएगी, जिस दिन साइंस पूरा हो जाएगा, you go to market and pick up all the question papers of economy and science and solve all those tests also. Okay, your preparation should be broad, but it should not be haphazard. चलो ये भी पढ़ लिया, वो भी पढ़ लिया, यहाँ से पढ़ लिया, वहाँ से पढ़ लिया. Don't do that. देखो, today for this chapter only you have around 20-25 pages of notes. Now there are institutions which have given 50 pages summary or 70 pages summary of economic survey of India. Do you think they will be able to cover? Have I covered a single thing which is not relevant for your exam? No. तो चीजें मिस होती है. I'll give you a very good example. अभी हम insolvency and bankruptcy code पढ़ेंगे. वहाँ पे एक we'll study a topic, dissolution of a company. How a company gets voluntary dissolution of a company. So yesterday I was going through economic survey of India notes by a very big institution which has released it 2 days back. मैंने सोचा कि देखते हैं इन्होंने 80 पेजेस में समरी दे कैसे दी. तो नो, इट वाज डे बिफोर यस्टरडे, बिकॉज डे बिफोर यस्टरडे आई वाज प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर इंसॉल्वेंसी एंड बैंक्रप्सी कोड. मैंने देखा कि यार मैंने इंसॉल्वेंसी एंड बैंक्रप्सी कोड पे 6-7 पेजेस दिए हैं. हाउ कैन दे? देन आई वेंट थ्रू इट. दे हैव सेड दैट देयर आर two ways in which voluntary insolvency resolution may happen. बाकी कुछ नहीं बताया. Whereas economic survey of India's focus was on what is the problem in the current voluntary dissolution of company mechanism and how would you resolve it. That analysis was not there. तो ऐसे ना कि चलो ये नोट छोटा है, ये बड़ा है, ये पढ़ लेते हैं, वो पढ़ लेते हैं, वो नहीं करना है. क्या आपको जो मिल रहा है पूरी शिद्दत से पढ़ो, सब काम का है. ठीक है, अच्छे से पढ़ो, बेसिक्स अपने अच्छे से स्ट्रॉन्ग करके रखो and prepare for exam. Do not divert yourself around 100 things. solve as many questions as possible, but that too in a systematic manner. अभी आपने इकोनॉमी कंप्लीट नहीं करा, इकोनॉमी के पेपर्स लेके सॉल्व करने, finish your economy and then solve question papers of all. Sometimes you come to me and ask, sir कौन से इंस्टीट्यूट का टेस्ट सीरीज ज्वाइन करें? मैं कहा भाई कोई नहीं ज्वाइन कर, pick up papers, all the papers are available in the market, pick up papers, solve them, solutions भी रहता है, समझो उसे, करो उसे. Okay. RA is also there, sir. हाँ, RA, it may not have 70% से ज़्यादा canopy cover. That is what we are learning from this. Let's go to plastic waste management and elimination of identified single-use plastic. For students who are in current affairs program, this is also something that we have elaborately covered. है ना? Target Mains 2022 के booklets में आप लोगों के लिए plastic pollution इतना detail में पढ़ाया हुआ है सारे plastic waste management, but because it's an economic survey of India, we would briefly cover it again. So we are working towards, देखो plastic is hazardous for environment, plastic is problematic for environment. So we as a country want that we should be phasing out use of plastic as soon as possible. But the nearby goal is phasing out of single-use plastic, because single-use plastic has added to a lot of pollution in the environment. Now, in 2018, Prime Minister Modi had announced that India would phase out single-use plastic by 2022. Then, under Hazardous and Other Waste Management and Transboundary Movement Rule 2016, it was amended also. We have put restrictions on import of identified plastic waste. It was because from other countries plastic waste was being dumped into India. So we have amended this Hazardous and Other Waste Management and Transboundary Movement Rules to even regulate the import of identified plastic waste. Now, one more thing happened recently. In the 4th United Nations Environment Assembly, which was held in 2019, India piloted a resolution which was also passed. What was the resolution? Addressing single-use plastic product pollution. So single-use plastic product pollution को address करने के लिए we moved a resolution, we piloted a resolution which was passed by United Nations in the United Nations Environment Assembly. This was done, India piloted this because India felt that, or we all felt that, to fight plastic pollution, the global community will have to act together, will have to work together. And this resolution, addressing single-use plastic product pollution, is something which is emphasizing on this aspect, international cooperation to fight plastic pollution. Okay, तो कुछ तो like Economic Survey of India ने कुछ ऐसे बीच-बीच में random चीजें दी थी, वो I have listed. Now we'll talk about domestic regulatory measures which have been taken to fight plastic pollution in 2021. Domestic level पे, India के level पे, what are the measures that have been taken in 2021? That is, पिछले एक साल में what are the initiatives that we have taken? The first was amendment of plastic waste management rules 2021. तो देखो, we have plastic waste management rule 2016. That rule has been amended a few times. The latest amendment happened in 2021, and that's why plastic waste management amendment rule 2021. And I say इसमें ये हटा दो. Please remove this plastic waste management amendment rules 2021, or you could have called it amendment of plastic waste management rule 2016. 2016 rule का amendment हुआ या फिर plastic waste management amendment rule 2021. Fine. ये समझ में आया सबको? Now समझ में this amendment we did. What were the amendments that we have brought in this rule? First, we are saying that there are certain kinds of single-use plastic items which are low utility and which have high littering potential. This will be prohibited by 2022. For example, straw, plastic cups, those things have very low utility and they're just thrown like anything. Their littering potential is very high. So these would be prohibited. This is one major change that we are bringing. Then you will see not only उनका use prohibit हो रहा है, but manufacture, import, stocking, distribution, sale and use of identified single-use plastic, including polystyrene and expanded polystyrene commodities, shall be prohibited with effect from 1st July 2022. Then minimum thickness of plastic bags are also being increased. 2016 rules had increased it from 40 micrometers to 50 micrometers, 40 microns to 50 microns. Amendment to 2016 rules, अब amendment हो रहा है, it is increasing this to 75 micrometers. From 50 micrometers, the thickness of plastic bags is increased to has been increased to 75 micrometers since 30th September 2021, and by 31st December 2022 it will be increased to 120 microns. तो कोई भी plastic bag या plastic sheet that you will get after this year, after 31st December 2022, its thickness would be 120 micrometers. 2016 से पहले जितना पतला प्लास्टिक बैग आपको मिल जाता था, उससे 3 गुना मोटा प्लास्टिक बैग होना पड़ेगा. आ रहे ना, एडवांटेजेस ऑफ इंक्रीजिंग थिकनेस. सब कुछ समझेंगे. तो व्हाई आर वी इंक्रीजिंग द थिकनेस ऑफ द प्लास्टिक बैग्स? तो वन इज इट इंक्रीजेस द कॉस्ट. कॉस्ट इंक्रीज होगा तो चांसेस ऑफ इट बीइंग यूज्ड very easily would reduce. More importantly, it will increase the scope of recycling. Have you seen the waste pickers in the morning? Like my father had a grocery. Do you all understand grocery? ना चावल दाल तेल ये सब बिकता है. तो on Sundays, on all other day I used to go in the evening. On Sunday I used to go in the morning itself. And there I used to observe this. हम शॉप के बाहर बहुत सारा प्लास्टिक वेस्ट डालेंगे, जिसमें जो जो सामान आया था वो सब डालेंगे. The waste picker would come. He would pick up all the thicker plastics, and जो thin plastic होता था ना, the waste picker would not pick up that plastic. For example, nowadays we get atta in these already pre-packed bags. Atta in 5 kg का आशीर्वाद atta and all those things. When I was a kid, when I was in school, like in 2005-06, in that period, we also used to have this 100 kg का atta का bori, jute bag. But jute bag से तो आटा would go out, so they used to put in a very thin plastic cover. Plastic उसमें आटा जाएगा and that jute bag में it would be there. And that used to be very thin. Waste picker would not pick it up. So after the waste picker takes up everything, my father used to bring along all the waste at one place and burn it. वो भी pollution करता था. So waste pickers would pick plastic bags more if they are thicker because उसको उनका good अच्छा प्राइस मिलता है. Okay, तो increased cost, increased recyclability, reduced mobility. जो बहुत thin plastic होगा, it will move around easily. हवा आएगी, बहुत दूर तक उड़ता जाएगा. The place where the pollution is happening and the place which is getting impacted by it can be very far away. But that would not be the case with thicker plastic. Thicker plastic का flying का potential would be lesser. Then reduced chances of ingestion by animals. If the plastic is thicker, then animals would not like, chances of them eating this plastic would also be lesser. For all these reasons, we have to do what? We have to increase the thickness of plastic. Ankit is saying, sir, Telegram group में add नहीं कर रहे. यार मैं क्या? Vijayant, sir, how to deal with depression? क्या नाम है इसका? Vijayant, I'll tell you my personal experience. Depression वाली बात. Generally क्या होता ना? तो 2017 का जो मेंस एग्जाम था, it was the first मेंस जहां मैंने फुल टाइम तैयारी करी थी. मतलब उससे पहले मैंने ना कभी तैयारी जॉब के साथ एक बार मेंस दिया था एंड ऑल. हर बार आई गॉट इंटरव्यू कॉल. 2017 में द मेंस दैट आई रोट 2018 जनवरी में उसका रिजल्ट आया एंड आई डिड नॉट गेट इंटरव्यू कॉल. आई वाज लाइक व्हाट द हाउ कैन दिस हैपन? दिस टाइम आई वाज प्रिपेयर्ड. मतलब अर्लियर व्हेन आई रोट एग्जाम आई वाज वर्किंग, मेरा ऑप्शनल प्रिपेयर नहीं था. ये कैसे हो सकता है? मैं बहुत परेशान रहा ऐसे. 2018 में आई हैड आल्सो स्टार्टेड टीचिंग. So I think the result came on Thursday or Friday. I picked up my bag. I walked towards my home. एकदम पूरा depression वाली हालत में घर गया and I realized tomorrow I have my class and I started making notes for it. आई थिंक इट वॉज फ्राइडे, फिर फ्राइडे सैटरडे संडे ऐसे निकल गया. ऑन मंडे आई रियलाइज्ड मुझे तो ग्रीव करने का भी टाइम नहीं मिला. तो वन वे इन विच यू कैन इग्नोर ऑल द डिप्रेसिंग फैक्टर की बंदी चली गई कि ये हो गया वो हो गया, इज लाइक कीप योर सेल्फ बिजी. यू शुड हैव योर डेली टारगेट्स. आई हैव टू फिनिश दैट. चाहे प्रिया मेरे साथ रहे या ना रहे, मुझे ये टारगेट खत्म करने हैं. दिस इज how I coped up with things. Maybe this may not be suitable. I'm not a psychologist or psychiatrist or the right person to talk about depression, but I have seen that this helped. वरना मैं थोड़ा और perhaps this was not the reason, क्योंकि मैं ऐसे भी ज़्यादा चिल रहता हूँ, नहीं हुआ तो ठीक है ना. Their loss. I have this attitude कि selection नहीं हुआ, their loss. वैसे वो 60-70 हज़ार की नौकरी कौन करता, वो वाली चीज. तो दैट मे बी अ फैक्टर, बट डिप्रेशन मतलब ट्राई टू कीप योर सेल्फ बिजी एंड ट्राई टू इंश्योर दैट एवरी डे 1 hour यू आर गिविंग फॉर फिजिकल एक्टिविटी. यू शुड स्वेट एवरी डे, चाहे कितनी भी सर्दी हो रखी हो, अपनी बॉडी को स्वेट कराओ. अब उसका मतलब ये नहीं कि आग लगा लो नीचे स्वेट करने. गो फॉर अ रन, गो फॉर अ वॉक, स्वेट योर सेल्फ. उस टाइम आपकी बॉडी में ना अच्छे हार्मोन्स रिलीज होते हैं जो आपको अच्छा फील कराते हैं. ठीक है, तो अपने टारगेट्स को फॉलो करो और थोड़ा सा एक्सरसाइज करते रहो. बाकी मुझे नहीं पता, आई एम नॉट द पर्सन हु शुड गाइड फॉर दिस थिंग्स. Identified single-use plastic means not all the single-use plastic has prohibited, right? Yes, not all single-use plastic has been prohibited. Think of the carry bags, जिसमें आप शॉप से सामान लेके आते हो. That's a single-use plastic. You do not reuse it. But उसके लिए तो we are saying increase the thickness. Not all single-use plastic bags, plastic things have been banned. Only some selected identified single-use plastic has been done away with.
So does decomposition time will also increase for plastic?
Decomposition time ना बहुत ज़्यादा होता है, तो we never assume कि प्लास्टिक का decomposition से हम उसे डील करने वाले हैं. Decomposition time is very long. मान लो प्लास्टिक के डिकम्पोजिशन का टाइम 5000 साल है, उससे 10,000 हो गया. इज दैट इंपैक्टिंग टुडेज प्लास्टिक पोल्यूशन प्रॉब्लम? 5000 साल बाद पता नहीं क्या होगा, राइट? तो ऑलरेडी प्लास्टिक का डिकम्पोजिशन टाइम बहुत ज्यादा है. अगर 100 साल भी है, 200 साल भी है, उससे अगर डबल भी हो जाता है, दैट इज नॉट अ प्रॉब्लम दैट वी हैव टू डील विथ राइट नाउ. गॉट इट? सो वी आर इंक्रीजिंग द प्लास्टिक thickness of plastic bags, and thus there are advantages also. Then plastic waste which is not covered under the above phase out plan. There are plastic waste which are not covered under above phase out plan. Under extended producer responsibility EPR of 2016, it should be dealt with effectively. What is extended producer responsibility? Extended producer responsibility is like the people who are producing this plastic bag, they should also have the responsibility of recovering it. The people who are importing this plastic bag, they should also have the responsibility of recovering it. So those plastics should be dealt with by this extended producer responsibility mechanism. And EPR guidelines were released earlier, but those EPR guidelines were not released under Environment Protection Act के norms में. So by this amendment, we have included or we have given statutory backing to those EPR guidelines, extended producer responsibility guidelines also. So this was one major change that we have brought in our extended producer in our plastic waste management rule 2016. 2016 के rule को हमने amend किया है 2021 में. Okay, similarly, there are other things that we have done. In November, we brought draft regulation on the EPR for plastic packaging under प्लास्टिक वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट रूल 2016. तो प्लास्टिक वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट रूल 2016 है, उस पे हम गाइडलाइंस लेके आए हैं फॉर बेटर इंप्लीमेंटेशन ऑफ एक्सटेंडेड प्रोड्यूसर रिस्पांसिबिलिटी ऑफ प्लास्टिक पैकेजिंग. It has been notified by Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change in October 2021 for public consultation, and that's why we are calling it draft regulation. This is not a regulation which is in force right now, it is draft regulation. It proposes to mandate reuse, minimum level of recycling of plastic packaging waste, use of recycled plastic content, and environmentally sound management of plastic waste. Again, you can understand, यही करे if I have given, I am responsible for taking care of the plastic that I have produced. I'll recycle the plastic, I'll reuse the plastic, I'll go for recycling, minimum level of recycling, I'll use the recycled plastic content, or I will in an environmentally sound manner manage the plastic waste. This is something that it is focusing upon. It also seeks to strengthen the circular economy. What is circular economy? Same resources बार बार use हो रहे हो. So when you are recycling your plastic waste, circular economy. So we'll study this guidelines in details once the guideline comes. Right now it is draft. It has gone out for public consultation. तो इससे ज़्यादा जानने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. Then there have been certain other steps which have been taken to eliminate SUP. SUP is what? Single-use plastic. To eliminate SUP and better implement the Plastic Waste Management Rule 2016. ये hangover में लिखने से ना यही होता है. Plastic Waste Management Rule 2016. Okay, Vivek is asking, sir, the same plastic needs to be recovered. देखो Vivek, actually the system works in a different way. Suppose I have introduced 50 kg of plastic. So if you would want me to recover the same 50 kg of plastic, that would be challenging. Suppose हम toffee बनाते हैं, wrappers. Now expecting that I'll be able to recover the same 50 kg of wrappers would be challenging. So there are different mechanisms जहाँ पे ये बोला जाता है कि instead of that you recover 50 kg of some other plastic, so that resultant क्या है? Resultant you are removing 50 kg of plastic from it. Okay, so under extended producer responsibility there can be different mechanisms available. One mechanism could be you paying money to municipalities to recover this extra plastic. That's all. That can also be a method. Okay, ये इसने मास्क ही नहीं लगा रखा है, साइड में रख लिया, लगा लो भाई. और उसके पीछे एक लड़का बैठ के हंस रहा है, उसे देख के, और वो उसने खुद लगा नहीं रखा है. रवि लाए ही नहीं हो, ऐसे कैसे? रिसेप्शन से मांगो, रिसेप्शन पे होगा, जाओ. नहीं ये रवि जाएगा ना. They are under single use plastic, but they have not been banned because we do not have an alternative yet. They may be doing it illegally. They may have bribed the municipal officers and are doing it accordingly. If you're saying that thickness is not 75 micrometers, then they're doing it illegally. Corruption तो बहुत होता ही है ना, तो उसका कुछ करा नहीं जा सकता. Fine. Now other steps which have been taken. Let's talk about these other steps. Plastic waste से deal करने के लिए, plastic pollution से deal करने के लिए, the steps that have been taken other than the amendments that we have talked about. One is waste management infrastructure under Swachh Bharat mission is being improved throughout the country in various states and UTs. मिल गया? All states and UTs have been requested to constitute a special task force. तो states and UT level पे special task force होगा for what? For phasing out single-use plastic, to eliminate single-use plastic and to implement Plastic Waste Management Rule 2016 effectively. Then एक national level पे भी task force है, एक special task force in every state, एक national level पे भी task force है for better coordination on these matters. Here Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change would be forming this task force, and all states, UTs and concerned central ministries would be members of this national task force. Then you would also see that all states and UTs as well as relevant ministries and departments have been asked to make a comprehensive action plan for doing what? For phasing out single-use plastic and for properly implementing Plastic Waste Management Rules 2016. Abhi, the example that you just gave, that the vegetable vendor is still giving you very thin plastic because the rules are not being effectively implemented. Okay, and then there are awareness generation initiatives that government keeps launching regularly. Plastic waste and related things for both preliminary and mains examination should be done here. Sir, have some states banned the use of polythene carrying bag? A polythene carrying bag, I'm not sure if anyone has done that. क्या polythene carrying bag का ban हो गया क्या, complete ban?
सर वो पतली वाली तो हुई है, वो तो illegally
नहीं पतली वाले तो इलीगली हो गई, बट पॉलिथीन कैरी बैग आई डू नॉट थिंक, बिकॉज देयर इज नो अल्टरनेटिव. हैज इट बीन डन लाइक व्हेन यू बाय सम क्लोथ्स एंड यू बीन देयर, नहीं मिल रहा कुछ भी, ऑफिशियली नहीं है. तो मतलब क्लोथ्स एंड ऑल व्हेन दे आर डिलीवर्ड बाय अमेज़न, नहीं व्हेन इट्स
in general ऐसे outside you won't get.
okay. So I'm not sure. Arijit ji, sir, have some states banned the use of polythene carrying bags? I'm not sure, buddy. Like the developed countries setting projects to in underdeveloped to earn carbon credit. मतलब plastic credit, पता नहीं यार, मतलब how useful, feasible this would be. See, in case of carbon pollution, what happens? CO2, no matter who is emitting CO2, global warming would affect everyone. But if Delhi is creating a lot of plastic pollution, yes, microplastic eventually go in ocean and impact everyone, but the impact of plastic pollution is more limited, and thus we'll all have to work together all over the world. This is a problem, but वो थोड़े वैसे steps, localized steps are more important. Now let's go to water, groundwater situation. Now see, again, for those of you who are part of pre-cum mains current affairs program, we have said that 85% of our water is used for agriculture, and a large percentage of that comes from groundwater. So groundwater is very crucial for our agriculture production, is very crucial for a number of industries. ये drinking water की जितनी भी industries हैं, they are mostly pumping water from the ground and then are making it go through reverse osmosis and adding minerals in it and so on. So for our agriculture sector, for our industrial sector, and for our drinking purposes, for our social sector, groundwater plays a very important role, and unsustainable extraction of groundwater can be problematic, can create lots of issues. So Economic Survey of India is talking about the current situation. What is the situation of extraction? What is the situation of recharge of groundwater? Are we extracting more water? Which are the areas which are extracting more water than the water that is getting added into the ground, and then the water that is getting recharged? Okay, Economic Survey of India is talking about that aspect. Let's briefly look at it. So groundwater resource assessment of states UTs is carried jointly by state water departments and central water board, central groundwater board, and they release this report periodically. आप देखेंगे they released the report in 2004, 9, 11, 13, 17 and 20. So as per this groundwater resource assessment report, annual groundwater recharge has remained similar between 2004 and 2020. Groundwater recharge, look at annual groundwater recharge, जो blue color वाला है, it has roughly remained same from 2004 to 2020, except in 2013 where it increased. 2013 में groundwater recharge ज़्यादा हो गया था, otherwise groundwater recharge amount of water that is getting recharged is roughly the same. Annual groundwater extraction has been in the range of 58 to 63% during this period. Groundwater extraction, this blue color one, 58%, 61, 62, 62, 63, 62. How much of the groundwater are we extracting? तो जितना recharge हो रहा है उसका कितना percentage we are extracting? 58 to 62% के बीच में we are extracting. Now the extent of groundwater extraction varies across the country. If the groundwater extraction is less than 70%, मतलब जितना recharge हो रहा है उसका 70% ही only you are extracting, then that zone is, that area is, that region is safe. If it's less than 90%, it is semi-critical. If it's less than 100%, 90 or 100, जितना recharge हो रहा है उसका 90-100% आप extract कर ले रहे हो, then it is in the critical stage. And if you are extracting more than the recharge that is taking place, it is in the over-exploited stage. And over-exploitation is problematic because then groundwater will keep falling, and would create issues. in India, if you look the over exploited region, they're either lying in the South India or in Northwest India. Similarly, saline region, जहाँ पे water does not remain usable, those are again Southern India या Northwestern India. It's mostly located here. This image also I've taken from Economic Survey of India only. Okay. The number of safe units have declined between 2009 to 2020. Acha, I think na, because of the formatting thing, one of the images which is there in your notes is not visible here. Right, आप अपने notes में देखेंगे एक और image है pattern वाला, उसमें आप देखेंगे the number of safe units have declined between 2009 to 2020. Number of safe units, that is, जिसका groundwater extraction was less than 70%. Used to 73% in 2009, they have come to 64% now. Semi-critical units have increased, critical units have remained in the same range, over-exploited units have remained in the same range. Over-exploitation of groundwater resources mostly concentrated in northwestern India and South India. ये वाला बात हमने अभी आपको समझाया था. Fine. Now, water reservoirs. Other than groundwater, water reservoirs also play a role in supplying water for agriculture as well as for other purposes. Sir, how much time is still required to complete science? February end तक हम साइंस एंड टेक पूरा कंप्लीट कर देंगे. ठीक है, साइंस में दो मेजर टॉपिक्स हैं जो बाकी हैं, बाकी छोटे छोटे टॉपिक्स बाकी हैं. मेजर में एक कंप्यूटर एंड आईटी है और एक हेल्थ है, एंड बाकी फिर छोटे छोटे टॉपिक्स हैं. वी विल एंड इट बाय फरवरी एंड. तो फरवरी एंड तक आपका इकोनॉमी बेसिक्स, इकोनॉमिक सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया, दैट इज 80% ऑफ द इकोनॉमी would be done. Science and technology would be done. Read class 9, class 10 NCERTs. Okay. Now, water reservoirs, as we were saying that water reservoirs also play an important role in supplying water for various purposes in the country, but they are affected by a number of factors. Factors like seasonality. Seasonality, during monsoon our reservoirs would be pretty full, but May, June का, April, May, June का time होगा, वहाँ पे water level would be at their lowest. Then other factors like rainfall and temperature also play a role here. If you look at this, current year में तो they have data till December only, but last 10 years the amount peaked in September, October. The amount of water peaked in September, October, then it fell. Previous year may be roughly the same pattern, and the current year, for current year they have data only till December, roughly the same pattern is there. Right, the pattern more or less remains same. नमामि गंगे, river pollution की बात करते हैं. Let's talk about नमामि गंगे. Now, Ganga river basin is highly significant for us. It is the largest river basin in India. It is serving more than 25% of land area, and it is hosting about 43% of India's population and contributing to 28% of India's water resource. These aspects clearly explain you that Ganga river is, or Ganga river basin, when we talk about Ganga river basin, we are also talking about its tributaries and all, is highly significant for India. And in recognition of its significance for India, as well as cultural aspects associated with it, in 2008, Ganga river was declared national river. Now, Ganga is also one of the most polluted rivers in the world, and therefore, in 2014, Namami Gange initiative was launched. Namami Gange initiative had 4 key pillars. These are the 4 things that we wanted to do under Namami Gange. 1, we wanted to clean Ganga, nirmal Ganga. Second, we wanted aviral flow. Aviral Ganga without any blockage, enough water should be there in Ganga river. तो आपने गंगा क्लीन कर दिया, बट उसका सारा पानी डाइवर्ट कर लिया, एंड देयर इज नो वाटर इन गंगा, इवन दैट इज नॉट एक्सेप्टेबल. दैट इज अनदर पिलर ऑफ नमामि गंगे. देन वी हैव जन गंगा, people's participation in cleaning of Ganga as well as people's connect to Ganga has to improve. And finally, we had Gyan Ganga, research and knowledge management, related to pollution, related to amount of water that is coming and going, all those aspects. So under Namami Gange, these are the four key pillars that we are focusing upon. Now in four key pillars ko we'll discuss in details abhi only, but let us look at some other aspect. What is Namami Gange doing? Namami Gange is aimed at protecting, conserving and rejuvenating Ganga river basin. In 2015, Cabinet approved the mission for a period of 5 years. Namami Gange mission was approved for a period of 5 years with a budgetary outlay of 20,000 crore rupees. So before 2014, for 2-3 decades, Ganga पे around 4-5 हजार करोड़ रुपए खर्च हुए थे. But for this 5-year period, government allocated 20,000 crore rupees for this. Other than this, a national mission for clean Ganga was set up. Under the Environment Protection Act 1986, this national mission for clean Ganga was the nodal agency for monitoring and implementing Namami Gange mission. Then a clean Ganga fund भी बनाया गया. In this clean Ganga fund, contributions from citizens, residents of the country, NRIs, persons of Indian origin living abroad, other organizations, corporate sector, etc. were taken to contribute in the cleaning of Ganga or in achieving the Namami Gange aspect. As of December 2021, a total of 561 crore rupees have been received by GCF. Now, 4 pillars that we talked about, let us see what is happening under those pillars. What are the key things that we are doing under those pillars? So, Nirmal Ganga or Clean Ganga pillar, the most important pillar जहाँ पे सबसे ज़्यादा focus है अभी, because right now the problem is Ganga is polluted or its tributaries are polluted. Yamuna, which joins Ganga in Allahabad or which joins Ganga in Prayagraj, is highly polluted. So river Ganga itself is polluted, दूसरे rivers भी polluted है. We have to reduce this pollution. How do we reduce it? A river itself is not polluted. River gets polluted when waste, industrial waste, human waste, it gets added into that river. So the most important thing that is being done is we are running sewerage projects. Under these projects, not only is the water getting diverted, treatment plants, sewage treatment plants are also being set up. You would see that by December 2021, 160 sewerage projects have been sanctioned at the cost of 24,568 crore rupees. तो 20,000 करोड़ रुपए ही मिले थे इसे, but right now the projects of around 30,000 crore rupees have been sanctioned. उसमें से 24,000 crore rupees, 24,500 crore rupees have gone for sewage project only. Now, the amount of water that it would be able to treat, or these projects would be able to treat, would be 10 times than what was the situation in 2014. In 2014, there were 28 projects and which could treat 463 million liters per day of water. This is expected to go to 5,000 million liters per day. These projects have been created in Uttar Pradesh. Highest number of projects have been created in Uttar Pradesh, then Bihar, and then Uttarakhand. Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal में भी रिवर जाता है, पर तो West Bengal and then Delhi, Jharkhand, Himachal Pradesh and Rajasthan also have some projects. Then under Nirmal Ganga only, Nirmal Ganga में one thing that we are doing is we are creating sewage project. Second, जो grossly polluting industries होती है, industries which are highly polluting in nature, for example leather industries, paint industries, उन पे monitoring rules regulations ज़्यादा effectively implement कराए जा रहे हैं. For example, GPIs along the river Ganga have been inventoried, sector specific charters for implementation of cleaner technologies, upgradation of treatment facility and adaptation of waste minimization practices have been implemented. Overall result has been that compliance of these industries to various rules regulations have gone up, and there have been a reduction in the amount of wastewater that is getting discharged into the rivers. So these industries are complying more and there is reduction in the amount of wastewater that is getting into the river. Pillar 2, aviral flow, aviral flow or continuous flow. This is pillar 2 of the Namami Gange initiative. So to ensure aviral flow, what has been done? In 2016 ecological flow notification was mandated, where it was provided that during monsoon period Ganga river should have at least this much water, during winters Ganga river should have at least this much water, during autumn Ganga river should have at least this much water. Water is being diverted for a number of purposes, but this minimum flow should be maintained. So this limits the amount of water that may get diverted from Ganga river. At the same time, not only have this ecological flow notification been released, a number of other initiatives are being taken. For example, afforestation is happening. Ganga river के side में पेड़ लगाए जा रहे हैं. Already 29,000 hectares of land has been afforested. Then biodiversity assessment of Ganga river covering 2,200 kilometers. This is the main river we are talking about, not the tributaries. Biodiversity assessment has been started. देखो अगर flow will not be aviral, biodiversity would also suffer. So it is focused on that aspect. 279 wetlands have been identified along the Ganga rivers, and a preparation of integrated management plan of 118 wetlands is happening. All these things are being done to ensure aviral flow of the river. Then third pillar is Jan Ganga or People River Connect. This component acknowledges the critical importance of strengthening people river connection, and for this several initiatives have been launched. Three major initiatives which have been discussed by Economic Survey of India includes Ganga Quest 2021. In Ganga Quest 2021, lakhs of people, you'll see around 1 million, 10 lakh people participated from 113 different countries. So through these competitions, what do? We try to spread information about significance of the river among people, connecting people with Ganga river. Similarly, Ganga Utsav 2021 was celebrated for the first time as a river festival extending beyond Ganga basin cities. Then River City Alliance was launched in November 2021. This is a platform for river cities in India to ideate, discuss and exchange information for the sustainable management of urban rivers. So under this Jan Ganga or People River Connect in 2021, these three initiatives are there. And then pillar 4, Gyan Ganga, research and knowledge management of Ganga. So for this, for promoting research and development in Ganga river wale area mein or on Ganga river, we have established Ganga Knowledge Center to create a state of the art center to support National Mission on Clean Ganga and create comprehensive knowledge base on Ganga. At the same time, Center for Ganga Management and Study was set up at IIT Kanpur for long-term basin studies and technology development. So IIT Kanpur, does Ganga passes through Kanpur? Yes, Ganga passes through Kanpur. Kanpur traditionally have had a lot of leather industries, and Kanpur traditionally has also been a place जहाँ पे लॉ एंड ऑर्डर या इम्प्लीमेंटेशन ऑफ द रूल्स रेगुलेशन बहुत अच्छे से नहीं होता है. तो कानपुर सिटी का कंट्रीब्यूशन इन पोल्यूटिंग गंगा इज ह्यूज. ये कैमरे से बचने के लिए झुक के जा रही है. इसकी हाइट इतनी है ही नहीं कि कैमरे तक पहुंचेगी. Okay, so these two centers have been under Jan Ganga. These two centers have been set up. Air pollution. Now, air pollution भी कर लेते हैं. फिर climate change will do in the second half. After doing air pollution, we'll take a break and then we'll do climate change. Air pollution and related issues. So here also we will be talking about major initiatives that we have taken. The first major initiative is National Clean Air Program. हमने क्या National Clean Air Program डिटेल में पढ़ा है? Target Mains 2022, like current affairs program में pre-com mains में हमने डिटेल में पढ़ा है. One thing that we should clearly know is this initiative is focused that in 5 years, that is from 2019 to 2024, we should reduce particulate matter concentration across the country by 20 to 30%. This is the goal, target of National Clean Air Program. पार्टिकुलेट मैटर कॉन्सेंट्रेशन इन 5 years फ्रॉम 2019 जब ये प्रोजेक्ट लॉन्च हुआ टू 2024 शुड रिड्यूस बाय 20 to 30%. 20 to 30% of what? Of the base year. Base year is 2017. NCAP is being implemented in cities of India. Which cities? 132 cities, of which 124 have been identified based on non-conformity with national ambient air quality standards. Those cities which are not conforming with national ambient air quality standards, those 124 cities have been identified, and then there are some other cities which have been identified on other grounds. For example, it includes 34 million plus cities. तो 34 million plus मतलब 10 लाख से ऊपर वाले. तो 34 cities in India which have more than 10 lakh population and which have been identified by 15th Finance Commission. It also includes 8 others million plus cities which fall under 15th Finance Commission grant for receiving performance based grant for air quality improvement. Then, so this is National Clean Air Program. We would again when we'll come to environment section, National Clean Air Program और detail में पढ़ेंगे, उसके अंदर क्या components है वो सब चीजें पढ़ेंगे. But Economic Survey of India talks about these aspects. One target, two the number of cities, 134 है. उसमें से like earlier when the program was launched, no, all cities were based on 112 cities were there, and all of them were based on non-compliance with the ambient air quality norms and WHO norms. But now, how the cities have been chosen? Now all the cities which are under this are, now all the cities which are under it, most of them, 120 of them, 124 of them are not satisfying the ambient air quality standard, but there are some other mechanisms also for adding cities. There are several other steps which have been taken in India in recent years to promote or to fight air pollution. For example, these are certain initiatives which have been taken to deal with vehicular emission, pollution which is happening from vehicles. What are the initiatives? We have moved from BS4 to BS6 without going to BS5, and thus we have ensured faster transition to BS6 vehicles as well as fuel. Then metro rail now cover more cities. Every year you will see some metro project being announced in some new city. लखनऊ में मेट्रो प्रोजेक्ट है, मुंबई में मेट्रो प्रोजेक्ट है, अहमदाबाद में बात हो रही है. तो ऑल ओवर द कंट्री न्यू मेट्रो प्रोजेक्ट्स आर कमिंग. मेट्रो प्रोजेक्ट्स इलेक्ट्रिसिटी यूज करेंगे, रिड्यूसेस vehicular pollution. So we have moved to BS6. We are introducing more and more of these metro projects. Then we are also promoting electric vehicles. Electric vehicles also we have studied in class, pre-com mains batch mein, we have studied it already. There we talked about various schemes, various initiatives launched by government. FAME initiative was one of them. FAME 2 was launched recently with a total outlay of 10,000 crore rupees. In 2019 it was launched with an outlay of 10,000 crore rupees for 5 years. Through this, the focus of FAME 2 is more on incentivizing people, encouraging people. So 86% of the funds will go on demand incentivization. Demand incentivize kaise karenge? For example, I want to buy a car. That electric vehicle is costing me 12 lakh rupees. Government will say, you buy electric vehicle, we will subsidize it by 2 lakh rupees. So it is incentivizing demand. If I'm buying a petrol and diesel vehicle, I do not get this extra incentives from government, but here it is we are getting this extra incentive from government. Then industrial emissions se deal karne ke liye what are the things? The other things that we have discussed were to deal with vehicular emissions. To deal with industrial emission, stringent emission norms for thermal power plants have been put in place. Now thermal power plants are not following those norms, and government keeps on extending the deadline for implementation of these norms, but still stringent norms are there कि how much pollution can thermal power cause. Ban on use of imported pet coke. Do we all understand what is pet coke? Pet coke क्या होता है पता है? नहीं पता? Pet coke is petroleum coke. तो देखिए, you know how petroleum refineries function. Crude oil जाता है, it is heated. Gas, kerosene, petrol, diesel. Diesel के नीचे heavy oil. उसके भी नीचे solid particles which are left. If you take out this solid particle, heat it a bit, dry it a bit, you will get petroleum coke. It is like coal. That is pet coke. Pet coke के ऊपर heavy oil रहता है. Heavy oil is used in ships and all those things because they are highly polluting in nature. Petrol, diesel वहाँ नहीं होता, heavy oil use होता है. उसके ऊपर petrol, diesel and all the kerosene and all those things are there. So when you heat the crude oil, based on the boiling point of different components will get separated in different things. Pet coke is the last remaining solid things which are left there. It is further solidified and is used in industries. So pet coke, there were a number of industries like cement industries and all which liked pet coke. Pet coke, petroleum coke, they liked it because petroleum coke is very rich in sulfur. So cement industries need sulfur. But for other industries, using petroleum coke was adding to pollution because sulfur dioxide बहुत सारा release होता है, which creates a lot of problem. So we would again, petroleum coke is also something that we are going to cover in detail. Do not worry. अभी हम वही पढ़ रहे हैं जो इकोनॉमिक सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया में है. अभी हम पूरा एयर पोल्यूशन या पूरा वाटर पोल्यूशन नहीं पढ़ रहे, वो भी पढ़ेंगे. But for now, is it clear what is petroleum coke? तो petroleum coke का import has been banned, not use, because India में when we'll refine crude oil, we will be forming petroleum coke. So entire use of petroleum coke has not been banned. What has been banned? Imported pet coke use has been banned except in certain permitted process. Then monitoring has improved. Online continuous emission monitoring devices have been set up in highly polluting industries. Then brick kilns are also being modified. Brick kilns are one of the major polluters. Especially आप semi urban rural areas में जाएंगे जहाँ पे ईंट के भट्टे हैं. Brick kilns are ईंट के भट्टे. Those areas are highly polluting in nature. So there also in brick kilns technologies are being changed to reduce the pollution level. For example, they are coming with what is called zigzag technology. Zigzag technology. Why is heat needed in brick kilns? Brick को dry करने के लिए, brick को सुखाने के लिए, right? But if bricks are kept one over the other, a lot of surface of the brick is not exposed to the heat directly. So when you start putting them in zigzag fashion and all, your heat would be able to directly heat the surface of brick more effectively, and thus there would be efficient utilization of fuel. So this zigzag technology has also been brought in for brick kilns and all. Then reducing pollution due to dust and burning of waste. Economic Survey of India is also, dust is one of the major pollutants. ये भी हमने पढ़ा है. While talking about pollution problem in Delhi, did we say that dust major pollutant होता है? And then a lot of things are burned. This I was telling you, in my childhood, my father would, after the waste picker has taken everything, my father would collect all rest of the things at one place and उसमें आग लगा देंगे. ऐसा आज भी होता है. आप जाए यहाँ पे, like in our areas now municipality is working and they pick up all the waste, so we do not have to do that. But even in Delhi, you will see a lot of people burning these things. So if we have to fight dust pollution and burning of waste, what do we do? Various waste management rules. 2016 में प्लास्टिक वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट रूल आया. हमने प्लास्टिक वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट रूल का अमेंडमेंट 2021 अमेंडमेंट अभी पढ़ा था. बट इन 2016 वी हैड प्लास्टिक वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट रूल, वी हैड ई वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट रूल, वी हैड सॉलिड वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट रूल, वी हैड कंस्ट्रक्शन वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट रूल्स, वी हैव बायोमेडिकल वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट रूल्स. ये सारे रूल्स ना 2016 में आए थे. ये सब हमने पढ़ा है. Pre-Com means current affairs program में we have already done it. In target prelims also we'll do it again. Please do not worry. जिन लोगों ने अभी target prelims program join किया है, we would do it again. Do not worry. But if we take steps to effectively implement these rules, would the waste that is getting burned reduce? Yes, waste वहाँ पे जाएगा ही नहीं ना. अगर आपका your extended producer responsibility is getting effectively implemented, so the manufacturers or producers of plastic have to recover that plastic. The chances of that waste being burned would be reduced. So that is one thing that is being done. Extended producer responsibility is being happening, and then burning of biomass or garbage has been banned. these things will reduce dust pollution as well as the other kind. Dust pollution में यहाँ पर construction and demolition waste का भी waste management rule है, that would contribute in the fight against dust pollution. Then monitoring of ambient quality, ambient air quality, monitoring of ambient air quality. We have established a national air monitoring program using which throughout the country devices are being set up for effective monitoring. In fact, there are pilot projects which have been initiated to assess alternate ambient monitoring technology. Alternate ambient monitoring technology, like right now we are putting measurement devices at different places, but what if using satellite we'll be able to measure ambient air quality? So to test these newer methods, pilot projects have been launched in Delhi, Kanpur and Lucknow. Then we have all these things, you will see all these things have had some positive result according to Economic Survey of India. हम अभी फिर बोलेंगे कि Economic Survey of India is trying to give positive pictures. It says that, now look at the data play that they do. They're saying that 96 cities showed decreasing trend of particulate matter 10 concentration in 2020-21 as compared to 2019-20. Now they are not talking about 2021-22. 2020-21 में तो COVID-19 की वजह से लॉकडाउन था. 2020-21 में COVID-19 की वजह से लॉकडाउन था. In everything else they were talking about 2021-22 and they were comparing it with the. So see how, why is it important that you people remain smart and you people are questioning government? Because otherwise they'll give you some data to show a good picture. Picture may be good, but सही data मतलब एक यूनिफॉर्म टाइप का डेटा दो ना. तो देखो 96 cities showed a decreasing trend of PM10 concentration in 2020-21 as compared to 2019-20. A number of cities within the prescribed national ambient air quality, standard, that is air quality standard जो कि अच्छा है, उसमें कितनी cities थी? It increased from 18 in 2019-20 to 27 in 2020-21. देख रहे हो शरारतें. However, air pollution remains a major concern with 36 cities showing an increasing trend in PM10 concentration in 2020-21. So even after COVID lockdown in 2020-21, 36 cities showed increasing trend from 2019-20. In 21-22 situation would be worse. Delhi में, to fight air pollution in Delhi, certain specific things are needed because Delhi's air pollution is a big issue. Okay, so first is a commission on air quality management in NCR and adjoining areas have been set up. This is also something that we have already studied in detail. Commission के बारे में, we'll again study it in detail, but this commission has been given much more power than the previous bodies which were there. When it comes to air pollution, it will have superseding power over CP, CB or state pollution control boards also. Then there is a scheme called promotion of agri-mechanization for in-situ management of crop residue. Stubble burning is a major concern. तो एक central government का scheme है mechanization of agriculture for in-situ management of residue. In-situ, like on field itself, you manage the residue. How? By going for inverted plowing, by going for happy seeders, like लगे रहने दो stubble को, even while stubble is there in the field, you will be able to sow your crops. तो उसके लिए you need machines. Those machines have been subsidized. Farmers can get a subsidy of up to 50% and custom hiring centers, those shops which would rent these machines on rent these machines to farmers, they would be able to get a subsidy of 80%. So this is something which has been done for NCR region, because NCR region is something that faces a lot of problem. Then old vehicles have been banned in Delhi. In Delhi, petrol vehicles which are more than 15 years of age and diesel vehicles which are more than 10 years of age has been banned, completely banned. Then expressways and highways to divert non-destined traffic away from Delhi, it has happened. You must be knowing about the expressways जो दिल्ली के दोनों तरफ से रिंग रोड जो बन गया है दिल्ली के दोनों तरफ से, the trucks which are not destined for Delhi, which have to go to UP, let's say. Earlier, what they used to do, they used to come to Delhi and then go towards UP. Those things have been done away with through this expressways and highways. Then shifting industries to clean fuel and installation of better monitoring mechanisms are happening in Delhi. As a result of this, there has been an improvement in the air quality index of Delhi since 2016. The number of good, satisfactory and moderate days increased to 197 in 2021 compared to 108 in 2016. Now notice this carefully. Here they have given 2021 ka data because it was the situation in Delhi. So in Delhi, and isme bhi they are saying ki things have improved. In Delhi things have improved. There were 108 days in 2016 when air quality was good, satisfactory and moderate level. Those days have increased to 197 in 2021. Number of poor, very poor and severe days decreased to 168 in 2021 when compared to 246 in 2016. 2016 was a very bad year for pollution. 2016 was the first year when I realized the impact of pollution. Like that was the year जब मैं दिवाली के बाद घर यहाँ आया था तो I could feel that pain in my eyes. आंसू आ रहे थे आंखों से because हवा में इतना pollution था. When you were walking on the road right after Deepavali. So 2016 was a very bad year. When compared to that, situation is improving. Okay, so this was about air pollution. Now let's take a half an hour का break. कितना 40 minutes का break लेते हैं. कितना break चाहिए बताइए, आप लोग lunch कर ले जिसमें 40 minutes और half an hour बताइए 40 minutes. Okay, so it's 1:50 right now. We'll meet at 2:30 to deal with the climate change wala thing. Okay. So welcome back. Climate change, though we have already studied all these things, whatever we will discuss today, we have already studied all these things in a lot of details in our classrooms, but still, because it's mentioned in Economic Survey of India, for the sake of completion of Economic Survey of India, we will quickly go through these initiatives here. Now, to deal with the issue of climate change, several initiatives have been taken by Government of India which are in play right now. For example, one of the oldest initiatives, like in 2008 we started National Action Plan on Climate Change. Under this National Action Plan on Climate Change, this was a comprehensive program under which we have 8 submissions. 8 submissions which are focusing on 8 different sectors. For example, National Solar Mission is there. Initially, National Solar Mission का target था 20 gigawatts of solar power. Later, it was changed to 100 gigawatts of solar power. So, National Solar Mission is trying to achieve 100 gigawatt of solar power in 7 years, starting 2014-15. Now, this 7 years wala thing keeps changing regularly. Like it's expected that by 2022 we may not be able to achieve this solar energy wala target, so it would get extended. But as of December 2021, our solar power capacity is 49.35 gigawatt, which is an incredible achievement. पहले हमने target रखा था 2020 तक हम 20 gigawatt पहुंचेंगे, but in reality we have reached 50 gigawatt, but it is still not the target that we have set. Then there is National Mission for Enhanced Energy Efficiency. So energy efficiency is something that we have studied in a lot of detail. We have talked about various programs like Bureau of Energy Efficiency, its star rating system, PAT program, all those things. Under National Mission on Energy Efficiency, certain number of things were planned. For example, mandating reduction in energy consumption in large energy consuming industries. So here we wanted that our energy consuming industry should become more efficient so that their energy consumption reduces. Financing for PPP to reduce energy consumption through demand side management programs, like municipal areas mein, buildings mein, agricultural sector mein, promoting efficiency, promoting better quality of devices, promoting infrastructure which would lead to less energy being consumed. Energy incentives including reduced taxes on energy efficient appliances. जो better star rating products हैं उस पे taxes कम रहेंगे, जो lower star rating products हैं उस पे taxes ज़्यादा रहेंगे. इस तरह की चीज़ें सोची गई हैं under this Bureau of Energy Efficiency. Its implementation, if you look at, it has this Perform, Achieve and Trade scheme which was started in 2012. Its first cycle, second cycle and third cycle, PAT third cycle, which ran from 2017-18 to 2019-20, concluded on 3rd March 2020, and result of this cycle is still awaited. Results are not yet available to us. There is National Mission on Green India. Under this mission, the focus is on increasing the green cover. Every year, what we want is forest or tree cover should increase by 5 million hectares. And quality should improve by, quality of forest cover should improve by another 5 million hectares. So, let me rephrase it. Under Green India Mission or Mission on Green India, what we want is, ek to forest cover should increase. That is, new area which is not in forest cover should become forest cover. That is, it should have at least 10% canopy. We understand the meaning of forest cover. At the same time, forest cover which is already there, their density should go up, at least in 5 million hectares. So, increasing forest or tree cover by 5 million hectares and improving quality of forest cover on another 5 million hectares. National Mission on Sustainable Habitat. What is habitat? जहाँ आप रहते हैं, the buildings, the houses which are being created, make them more sustainable. How will we make them sustainable? If we are building houses which are consuming less energy, which have natural ventilation mechanisms, right? These are the things that National Mission on Sustainable Habitat is focused upon. Promoting energy efficiency as a core component of urban planning by extending existing energy conservation building code, strengthening enforcement of automotive fuel economy, using pricing measures to encourage purchase of efficient vehicles and incentives for the use of public transportation. Then we have National Water Mission. National Water Mission में water, it's a comprehensive program for water, be it groundwater, river water, pollution रोकना, efficient utilization करना. This National Water Mission was focused on that. National Mission on Sustainable Agriculture, making agriculture sustainable, especially to climate change. Both the things have to happen. One, agriculture should be modified in such a manner that its impact on climate change. Like agriculture, does agriculture contributes in climate change? Yes. When you are doing deforestation to increase your agri field, it is contributing to climate change. When methane is being produced in agriculture, it is contributing to climate change. When stubble burning is happening, it is contributing to climate change. All these things are happening. So, एक तो it doesn't contribute to climate change. Second, because climate change may still happen, you adapt your agriculture system to climate change, to fluctuations in temperature. You be ready for that. That is National Mission on Sustainable Agriculture. Okay, let me see if there are any doubts. How much time is still required to complete science? Science Feb end तक हो जाएगा. Sound issue, sir. अभी भी sound issue नहीं. अच्छा, these are old comments. Okay. Sir, your science and tech classes are best. Even Vajiram, which has a big name, has not covered holistically. Okay, छोड़ो. Guys, try to not use name of other institutions in these comments. गलती से मैं भी read कर देता हूँ. It doesn't appear good. My policy has been कि I'll try to do my best. बाकी सब लोग जो कर रहे हैं करते रहेंगे. Like what I prefer that है ना, अपनी लाइन बड़ी करनी जैसे rather than दूसरों की छोटी करनी. दूसरों को बुरा बोलने की जरूरत नहीं है, हम अपने आप को बहुत अच्छा करेंगे. तो next year you will find that I will be teaching better than what I am doing today, because I'll be putting more effort for next 1 year. है ना, मैं अपने आप को, हम लेवल अप को इम्प्रूव करने की कोशिश करेंगे, या मैं जहाँ भी पढ़ा रहा हूँ वहाँ पे अपने आप को इम्प्रूव करने की कोशिश करेंगे. देन दिस ओके. तो ऐसे किसी भी इंस्टीट्यूशन का नाम नहीं लेते हैं, अवॉइड करते हैं, अनलेस वो चोर हो. मैंने 2-3 इंस्टीट्यूशंस को बहुत गालियाँ दी थी जो हमारा मटेरियल, एटलीस्ट मटेरियल को पीपीटी में तो डाल लेते, बस अपना नाम, अपना लोगो नाम लगा के अपने बच्चों को दे रहे हैं. वो उनको तो डिफेम करना ही चाहिए, बाकी अवॉइड दैट. तो नेशनल मिशन ऑन सस्टेनेबल एग्रीकल्चर, डिड अंडरस्टैंड कि नेशनल मिशन ऑन सस्टेनेबल एग्रीकल्चर, तो इसमें एफिशिएंट वाटर यूटिलाइजेशन वाला एस्पेक्ट भी होगा, इसमें डाइवर्सिटी वाला एस्पेक्ट भी होगा, इसमें मूविंग टुवर्ड्स ऑर्गेनिक फार्मिंग वाला एस्पेक्ट भी होगा. तो ऑल दीज मिशंस आर टॉपिक्स व्हिच वी नीड टू स्टडी सेपरेटली, बट हियर आई एम जस्ट ट्राइंग टू अंडर national mission on climate change, or national action plan on climate change, there are 8 submissions and they are dealing with different topics. Then we have national mission on sustaining Himalayan ecosystem. So we know that Himalayas are something, Himalayas are an ecosystem which would adversely get affected by climate change. तो यहाँ पे focus, one of the mission is focused upon sustainable Himalayan ecosystem. So how would it be done? First, assessing what is happening there. Second, enable policy bodies in their policy formulation functions, that is by assessing, helping policy makers to understand whether glaciers नहीं, glaciers, space से अभी हम उस पे आ नहीं पाए, whether glaciers are melting, how fast they are melting, and so on. Establish new center relevant to climate change in existing institutions at Himalayan states, and regional cooperation with neighboring countries in glaciology and all are the focus here. Then national mission on strategic knowledge for climate change. यहाँ पे what we are trying to do is we are trying to increase coordination among various institutions in India who are doing research and development in climate change. तो आप यहाँ पे देखेंगे to gain better understanding of climate science and technology, formation of knowledge network among existing knowledge institutions. तो existing institution है, उन्हें better connect करना so that they are able to coordinate and they are able to form this knowledge network. Development of national capacity for modeling the regional impact of climate change on different ecological zones within the country. Okay, so actually initially I wanted कि मैं बस ये national action plan on climate change and I'll list the 8 missions. I did not want to include all this detail here because this detail will eventually anyways cover in future, but I have quickly covered it here so that एक वो economic survey of India में को हमने complete कर लिया, we haven't missed anything. That was the aspect that I wanted. There are other than national action plan on climate change, we have various other initiatives which have been launched to fight climate change. एक है climate change action plan, CCAP. CCAP is like, it has been given a lot of responsibility. You will see that CCAP consists of 8 broad subcomponents, and one of its component is National Action Plan on Climate Change. And the money that has been allocated to it is only 290 crore rupees. तो बस इतना याद रखो, National Action Plan, Climate Change Action Plan (CCAP) is a scheme which has 8 broad components. उसमें National Action Plan on Climate Change, State Action Plan on Climate Change, National Institute on Climate Change Studies and Actions, National Carbonaceous Aerosol Program, Long-Term Ecological Observations, International Negotiation, Capacity Building. These are various initiatives which are there. इन सब के बारे में बहुत जानने की जरूरत नहीं है. These are a bit old now. National Adaptation Fund on Climate Change. See, there are 2 things. One, you mitigate, that is you fight climate change. 2, you adapt to climate change. Adapt to climate change means you know that climate change would occur. You know that sea level would rise. Because sea level is going to rise, you move away from coastal areas. This is adaptation. Right? So this fund, National Adaptation Fund on Climate Change, was set up in 2015 to help India take climate action and finance adaptation efforts domestically. So far, 30 projects have been started under it in different areas, in areas which are sensitive to climate change. जैसे agriculture है, या water है, forestry है, coastal and Himalayan ecosystem. These are places which are going to get affected, which are very sensitive to climate change. And in fact, 30 different projects have been started using the funds which are there in National Adaptation Fund on Climate Change. So this was also mentioned by Economic Survey of India. So you should know about National Adaptation Fund on Climate Change. Then there is National Hydrogen Mission. Very recently, India has announced National Hydrogen Mission, where we will be generating hydrogen from green energy sources. Hydrogen, H2O can be converted into water and oxygen and hydrogen, but that is a very energy consuming process. That's now how we prefer to do it. But even a more efficient mechanism uses energy. अब आप energy use करके ही hydrogen produce करोगे तो problematic रहेगा. So newer technologies are coming, and under National Hydrogen Mission for generating green hydrogen, what we are saying is we will be, because it's National Hydrogen Mission for generating hydrogen from green energy sources, what we'll be doing is we'll be using renewable energy. So this hydrogen itself does not have carbon footprint. इस hydrogen को बनाने के लिए CO2 ना emit हुआ हो, we'll be using green energy, and this hydrogen will be mixed with CNG to improve the efficiency of the fuel. Right now we do not have devices, we do not have engines which can run on hydrogen fuel directly, जो हम vehicles में use करते हैं. So it will be mixed with CNG. There's a plan for this mixing in coming days. Then ethanol blending. In 2021, we have set a higher target for ethanol blending. Ethanol blending, India has said that by 2025 we will be achieving 20% of ethanol blending. That is, our petrol will have 20% ethanol. Ethanol is alcohol. हमारे पेट्रोल में, हमारे फ्यूल में 20% तक ethanol रहेगा. How much ethanol do we have today? Around 8%. The blending that we have achieved right now is around 8%. And achieving 20% of ethanol blending was targeted for 2030 earlier. Now that has been reduced to 2025. Now we have 5 more years to achieve this. Right now 8.5% हमने achieve किया है. Now why do we want to do this? Why do we want to do ethanol blending as such? अगर हम 20% ethanol डाल दे रहे हैं fuel में, it means we are not using 20% petrol or diesel, which is mostly imported. right? So first it will save $4 billion of foreign exchange every year in imports. Then enhancing energy security, same, not depending on imports, lowering carbon emission. Ethanol increases the efficiency of the fuel, and thus it will lower this, improving air quality. The amount of pollutants which diesel would produce and the amount of pollutant which ethanol would produce, ethanol ke pollutants are much lesser when compared to diesel pollutants, and therefore this promoting productive use of damaged food grains. टूटे हुए चावल, टूटे हुए गेहूं, उसका बहुत सारा यूज नहीं हो पाता, that can be converted into alcohol or ethanol. So it could be used for monetary gains also. And finally, all this will increase farmers' income and create employment and investment opportunities in the country. Government is expecting that investment of up to $5 billion, 5,541 million, that is 5 billion, to help India achieve its ethanol blending target of 10% by 2022 and 20% by 2025. तो ethanol blending, देखो ethanol blending directly climate change से fight नहीं करता, because ethanol will also emit CO2, but still biofuel is a renewable source. It has other advantages. Okay, now Indian Railways is also targeting net zero carbon emission by 2030. पेट्रोल में तो होता ही है डेफिनेटली, हाँ पेट्रोल में ही होता है, डीजल में नहीं मिक्स कर पाते, यस उसका इंजन थोड़ा सा अलग होता है. एक बार मैं फिर भी कंफर्म कर लूंगा. नहीं वो उसका पर्पस कुछ और होता है, पर एक बार मैं फिर भी कंफर्म कर लूंगा, ठीक है. मिक्स दीज टू थिंग्स. हाँ, अगर इफ इट वाज वेरी इजी देन हम अभी बोल देते हैं लो 30% ब्लेंडिंग कर लो. देयर मस्ट बी कॉम्प्लिकेशंस एंड ऑल. आई एग्री. ओके, रेलवेज, हमारे ट्रांसपोर्टेशन सेक्टर में रेलवेज प्ले अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल. यू आर आस्किंग समथिंग? अच्छा बताइए, आप अपना नाम बताइए एक बार. जतिन. दो जतिन हो गए, दूसरा कहाँ है? वहाँ भी जतिन है. जतिन बताइए. Yes, there would be 200 ml of ethanol, 800 ml of. So, can we conclude that it will lead to decrease or increase in prices? Yes, अगर पेट्रोल प्राइसेस बहुत ज़्यादा है, ethanol prices तो we can control based on the supply ourselves, so it can affect the prices of petrol that we buy on petrol pump. Not prices of crude oil as such, but prices of things, blended petrol, the ethanol blended petrol that we buy. So it might also affect farmers' income. देखो, एथेनॉल जो प्रोडक्शन हो रहा है वो तो कहाँ से होगा? गन्ने से होगा, या चावल से होगा, या मक्के से होगा, या गेहूं से होगा, जो बेकार पड़ा हुआ है. तो फार्मर्स प्रोडक्ट वुड बी डिमांडेड मोर, फार्मर्स इनकम इंक्रीज. फॉर लाइक गन्ना इज शुगर केन may not be giving you enough price today because demand for sugar or demand for good is not that much. But what if we are starting to produce ethanol out of it? The demand for sugarcane would increase. What would it lead to? It would lead to more income for farmers, right? So now come to railways. Now see, you may be thinking कि यहाँ पे सर एक एक करके वो जो फैक्चुअल चीजें वो बता रहे. इकोनॉमिक सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया में यही मेंशन्ड है. हम इथेनॉल ब्लेंडिंग एक अलग से भी पढ़ेंगे कभी, उसमें और कुछ डायमेंशंस समझेंगे. Okay, but here I'm trying to update you with all the things which has happened in last 1 year and has been provided in Economic Survey of India. So Economic Survey of India also says that Indian Railway is targeting to achieve net zero carbon emission by 2030. Net zero, if Indian Railways would be emitting any CO2, it will also be absorbing, or it will not be emitting any CO2 at all. How would that happen? How does Indian Railway emit CO2 today? It emits CO2 by let's say burning diesel, petrol, by burning diesel in diesel engines, by burning coal in coal engines, or by using electricity. A lot of our trains run on electricity. So by using electricity, most of our electricity still comes from fossil fuel, so it emits CO2, right? Then जो lights वगैरह use करते हैं, fan use होता है, AC use होता है, all that thing may be running on electricity, and most of the electricity is coming from fossil fuels. So if we have to achieve net zero, we'll have to electrify but get electricity from renewable sources. A renewable may be like ethanol is also renewable, but it will emit CO2. It will not lead to net zero. So renewable like solar, wind, etc. Or if some non-renewable sources are being there, then you plant more trees so that you are absorbing CO2 also. The railway has a lot of land. If it's using some non-renewable CO2 emitting energy sources, it should be planting more trees for the purpose. Fine. So the railways is also targeting that by 2030 it will become net zero emitter. So for this, some major initiatives that are being taken is, now understand this, if you want to let's say move to renewable sources like solar and wind energy for electricity, you would be able to do that when all your trains are electrified. If your train is running on petrol or coal, there you won't be able to move to renewable. यहाँ पे वहाँ तो petrol use करना पड़ेगा ना. The first thing that is being done is 100% electrification of its network by December 2023. Once electrification is done, we can source most of our electricity from renewable sources. Use of one is this. Then they're also using new technology called, there's a technology called use of three-phase technology for regenerative braking. In science and tech, we'll study this in more detail, but here understand, by looking at these terms, you'll be able to understand what this is. Regenerative braking. What is regenerative braking? Roughly 20 years back, there was a concept which was brought in, like bicycle mein, when we use bicycle, when we put in brakes, our cycle slows down, and then we have to again put pressure and restart the thing. What if our braking system is using some spring mechanism, which at the time of putting brake, it will store potential energy. And once the brake is released, that potential energy would be reconverted into this. So you regenerate the energy there, you convert it into one form and then convert it in the other form. यहाँ पे something similar is used. This reduces the amount of energy that is used for this. So in science and technology, I'll go in more depth to explain you this mechanism. But for now, understand, because the purpose here is something else. Purpose here is keeping you updated with the whole everything that's happening in Economic Survey of India. Here, newer technologies which are providing effective braking mechanism, regenerative mechanisms are something that we are using. Then use of renewable energy sources are going up. Railways is already using 133.26 megawatt of solar and 103 megawatt of wind installed capacity. Then provisioning of LED lights at all railway installations and creation of additional carbon sink by afforestation is also being done by railways. Through these initiatives and more initiatives to come in future, by 2030 we want to become net zero emitters. Fine. Now PM Kusum. Like sometimes like एक scheme ना पुराना हो जाता है, जैसे 2018-19 में scheme आया था. I did not teach it last year, but then comes Economic Survey of India, 2-3 साल पुराना scheme, ये वापस से लेके आ जाते हैं, which is still going on. So this year when we'll cover solar energy, we'll cover PM Kusum in more details because Economic Survey of India has done it. What is PM Kusum? First, let us look at the full form of Kusum. Kusum is प्रधानमंत्री ऊर्जा सुरक्षा एवं उत्थान. कृषि की बात मिस के शायद ना कृषि से एसोसिएटेड है, कृषि ऊर्जा सुरक्षा, क्योंकि एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर में ऊर्जा सुरक्षा, एनर्जी सिक्योरिटी. दिस PM Kusum initiative is focused on ensuring energy and water security and de-dieselize the farm sector. De-dieselizing the farm sector. देखो energy security, अगर you will ensure that more and more solar energy is used by farm sector, energy security आएगी. Water security, if solar pumps are used to bring out water from the ground, water security also, and de-dieselize the farm sector. Diesel, like in those rural areas where इलेक्ट्रिसिटी is still not available, वहां पे सबमर्सिबल्स वगैरह यूज होते हैं और उसके लिए डीजल इज यूज्ड. तो de-dieselize this. For this, PM Kusum has been launched, and this scheme is aimed at adding 30.8 gigawatt of solar capacity with central financial support of 34,000 crore rupees. It has three components. पहला component है installation of 10,000 megawatt or 10 gigawatt of decentralized grid connected power plants, each of the capacity of 2 megawatt. So throughout the country, we would establish solar power plants of the capacity 2 megawatt to, देखो, this is decentralized grid connected. Decentralized, like we are not creating a power plant of 1 gigawatt at one place, power plant of 2 megawatt at one place, in a decentralized, one here, not at one center, but grid connected. It will be connected to the main grid, so that if there is excess electricity, electricity would go in the main grid. Setting up 20 lakh standalone solar powered agriculture pumps. Standalone pumps matlab agriculture pump which is running with solar energy. So 20 lakh standalone solar pumps would be established, and then solarization of 15 lakh existing grid connected agriculture pumps. Agri pumps which are using electricity, right now, उनका solarization होगा existing agri pumps का. These are the three components with which the three goals: energy security in agriculture sector, water security in agriculture sector, and de-dieselizing, diesel से दूर करना agriculture sector को, वो तीनों अचीव करना चाहते हैं. तो and with all three of these components, if bank give loans for these three things, it would be considered a loan under priority sector lending. What has been the progress on PM Kusum? As of December 2021, 77,000 standalone solar pumps, 25.25 megawatt capacity solar power plants, and over 1026 pumps were solarized under individual pump solarization variant. Some progress has been achieved. अभी भी जैसे इसमें जो टारगेट था solarization of 15 lakh grid connected agri pump, what has happened? 1000 का ही हुआ है. 15 lakh के टारगेट का 1000 पंप का ही solarization हुआ है. In the same way, installation of 10,000 megawatt, 25.25 megawatt ही हुआ है. Progress has been nearly negligible. 10,000 का 25 कितना होता है? 10,000 का 1% is 100, 25 is 0.25%. But here we'll not talk about key way forward, what should be the way forward and all. Here you just understand PM Kusum ek initiative, what is the focus of that initiative. Okay, then under National Solar Mission में we wanted कि we should have 100 gigawatt of solar energy. There are some major components. Economic Survey of India has also talked about those components. One component is development of solar parks and ultra mega solar power projects. Large solar power projects ka development. Through this mechanism, we are targeting 40 gigawatt capacity by March 2024. Now understand, एक और चीज समझो. By 2022, we want 100 gigawatt under National Solar Mission, right? Government themselves know that its component would not be achieving its target. For example, this is a major component, 40 gigawatt, but they have changed its date to 2024. They know that 40 gigawatt from large solar power panels would not be, large solar power projects would not be possible by 2022. इसका date 2024 कर दिया गया है. So far, 50 solar parks have been sanctioned with combined capacity of 38.82 gigawatt. Again, note something. These are sanctioned. These are not something which by 2022 will start providing you 38.82 gigawatt. Currently, solar power projects of an aggregate capacity of around 9 gigawatts have been commissioned. 9.2 gigawatt is something that we have achieved out of 40 gigawatt that we were targeting by 2022. And that's why the target has now shifted to 24. फाइन. जैसे सब थोड़े सोते सोते से लग रहे हो. क्या खाया ऐसा? हर्षिता ने क्या खाया बेटा? आलू की सब्जी एंड चपाती. थोड़ा प्रोटीन प्रोटीन भी ले लिया करो. इधर भी कार्बोहाइड्रेट, इधर भी कार्बोहाइड्रेट. व्हाट डू यू टेक फॉर प्रोटीन?
I take sprouts and veggies.
ठीक है, स्प्राउट्स ठीक है, बट और भी सोयाबीन वगैरह, अंडा वगैरह. वेजिटेरियन हो? अच्छा. अंडा तो खा सकते हो?
I don't even eat eggs.
एग्स भी नहीं? क्यों? तो वो तो इसके डेफिनेशन में वेज एग वेजिटेरियन है या नहीं वो समझना चाह रहा था ना मैं, कि व्हाई इज एग नॉट वेजिटेरियन. एक लॉजिक नहीं, व्हाई इज एग नॉट वेजिटेरियन? कोई मुझे बताएगा व्हाई इज एग नॉन वेजिटेरियन? नहीं. This is a very big misconception, because understand this, eggs that hen is giving you are unfertilized eggs. जैसे ह्यूमन बीइंग हर एक महीने में एग्स वेस्ट करता है ना, अनफर्टिलाइज्ड वाले. मोस्ट ऑफ द एग्स दैट इज बीइंग गिवन आर अनफर्टिलाइज्ड एग्स. उसमें से कोई बच्चा नहीं निकलने वाला. आप उस वो मुर्गी ने अंडा दिया, आप उस पर बैठ जाना, उसे गर्म करते रहना, बच्चा नहीं निकलेगा. तो इट डजंट हैव लाइफ इन इट. नहीं, गो एंड गूगल इट टुडे एंड स्टडी इट. तो डू नॉट अज्यूम दैट यू आर किलिंग अ लाइफ. क्या? फिर तो मारने में फन रहेगा. नाम क्या है आपका? क्या लादेन? क्या बोला? मुझे तो लादेन सुन रहा है, मारने में फन मिल रहा है इसे तो. ओसामा बिन लादेन. और बताओ कोई खतरनाक हो? नाम पेरेंट्स ने लिखा कनिक, प्यारा सा, और काम तुम लादेन वाले कर रहे हो. ओके, तो डेवलपमेंट ऑफ सोलर पार्क, अल्ट्रा मेगा सोलर पावर प्रोजेक्ट्स. रूफटॉप सोलर प्रोग्राम phase 2. Under this we had a target of 40 gigawatt installed capacity by December 2022. फिर इस बात को समझिए पहले. देखो, there are two things. We want to establish solar power 100 gigawatts. Some of it would be established by creating solar power plants. बहुत बड़े एरिया में solar power panels लगाए जाएंगे. Lot of solar power panels would be installed. Electricity would be generated, it will go to the grid and all. But then solar power panels can also be put on roof of your house. That will not be done at a very large scale. It will not be generating 500 megawatt and all. But rooftop solar power also has a lot of potential. So there were two major components of National Solar Mission. एक जो हमने अभी पहले पढ़ा, of establishing large solar power projects. Other was of rooftop solar program, and rooftop solar program is something that has not been very successful. In fact, large solar power project mein we have commissioned 33 gigawatts of project, but rooftop solar mein that's not happening. We have still not been able to motivate people to go for rooftop solar. The rooftop solar can solve a lot of problems for let's say people in Delhi. People in Delhi मई जून में उनका छत ऐसे जलता है. You have to keep your AC on all the time. It's very hot. If they cover their roof with solar power panels, all that light will be converted into electricity, and their roof would also be cooler. Their consumption of electricity would also go down. But still, we haven't been able to convince people to move towards rooftop solar. आप यहाँ देखेंगे, the scheme under the scheme assistance is provided for up to 4 gigawatt of solar roof top capacity to residential sector. Residential sector में, housing sector में, if you are establishing projects of up to 4 gigawatts, आपको benefit दिया जाता है. Now you may be having this doubt कि sir ये 4 gigawatt is huge. 4 gigawatt आप power solar power plant भी बना रहे थे, 500 megawatt का power plant and all. 4 gigawatt is huge. I rechecked it in Economic Survey of India. They have used the same figure कि 4 gigawatt तक के प्रोजेक्ट को ये करेंगे. I do not know the logic, तो मैं थोड़ा और रिसर्च करूंगा. Have they misprinted it? But for now, because I did not have time to do that, so for now I have copied the Economic Survey of India's data only. कि what are they saying? The scheme provides financial assistance for up to 4 gigawatt of solar rooftop capacity to residential sector. So far, a cumulative of 5.87 gigawatt solar rooftop projects have been set up in the country. Target क्या है? 40 gigawatt. What have we achieved so far? 5 gigawatts. Then a scheme for setting up 20 gigawatt grid connected solar power projects by government entities. 40, 40, 20 कितना हो गया? 100 हो गया. Here government entities, public sector undertakings, they are supposed to install solar power panels, rooftop solar power panels on their building, and they are provided with viability gap funding. आपका प्रोजेक्ट कॉस्ट और प्रोजेक्ट से जो आउटकम आएगा उसमें जो गैप है, if it's negative, government will fund that for you. Okay, so these are certain things. Now, will promoting solar energy fight climate change? Yes, definitely it will fight climate change. That's what is happening here. Phase 3 of the off-grid solar PV application program for solar street lights, solar study lamps and solar power parks. How is it different from other projects? It is off-grid. It is not grid connected. So, solar study lamps or solar street light which is powered by solar, it is not connected to the grid. So, extra electricity will not be able to go to the grid. In case electricity is not available here, electricity would not be able to come from grid. This initiative is there. By December 2021, over 1.45 lakh solar street lights were installed in the country. 9.14 lakh solar study lamps were distributed. मुझे भी दे देते एक, मैं भी पढ़ता तो हूँ काफी. And about 2.5 megawatt solar power packs were set up. Offshore wind energy policy. Renewable energy को promote करने के लिए, to fight climate change, we are promoting renewable energy. We have seen for solar what are the initiatives, what are all the initiatives we have. PM कुसुम के बाद और बहुत सारी चीजें. Then we have offshore wind energy policy. See, in wind energy, what do? You install wind turbines, which with the blowing of wind will rotate and generate electricity. This is what you do. How is electricity generated? वो आप सबको पता है. Class 9 NCERT पढ़ेंगे अगर आप, या Class 10 NCERT. There, if you will study generator and motor, you will understand. Generator में क्या कर रहे हैं हम? Generator में we are rotating that thing and electricity is getting generated. So it's something that you have to rotate something in the magnetic field. You have to rotate this coil in the magnetic field, electricity would be generated. So in wind turbine, wind is doing that rotation. In आपको नहीं पता क्या मोटर या जनरेटर कैसे काम करता है? पता है ना? Nice. So in wind turbine, wind has to do that. Now you have to install turbines, those wind turbines, but or wind power plants you have to install. उसके लिए you can use a lot of space, or you can install offshore wind turbines. Now shore या coastal area में wind भी बहुत, land breeze, sea breeze चलता रहेगा. As well as when you install it offshore, the availability, you do not use a lot of land. So we have a offshore wind energy policy which is crucial here. Then solar hybrid policy. Wind solar hybrid policy. Now see, if you only install solar power panels, let's say, किसी दिन sunlight नहीं है, in that situation electricity would not be generated, right? If you only install wind turbines, किसी दिन wind blow नहीं कर रहा है, electricity would not be generated. Why not create a grid where we have solar panels also and wind turbines also? It will reduce the variability. And anyways, they are both using different sources of energy. It's using wind. So wind energy will not be consumed by the solar power panels. Solar power panels are using sunlight. So we have a solar hybrid policy in which wind or solar ka hybrid would be created. As of December 2021, capacity of around 4.25 gigawatt of wind solar hybrid have been awarded, have not been created, out of which 0.2 gigawatt have been commissioned. So far solar wind hybrid ka 0.2 gigawatt or roughly 200 megawatts have been created. Fine, this is another thing. Now these were some of the initiatives which India had taken to fight climate change. Then in COP26 also a lot of things have happened. Usme, before going into the outcomes of COP26, let's look at what India has announced at COP26 at Conference of Parties, 26th meeting of Conference of Parties of United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. What has India announced? India's decision to or India's announcement at COP26. At COP26, we have proposed 5-fold strategy which we are calling India's Panchamrit. 5 things that India will do to achieve net zero. Usme one is India will get its non-fossil energy capacity to 500 gigawatt by 2030. By 2030, from non-fossil sources, we will be generating 5 gigawatts of energy. Now, currently, our target was that by 2030 we will go for 450 gigawatts, but उसको हमने 50 gigawatts से और बढ़ा दिया. Non-fossil means biofuel would also be there. That is also non-fossil sources. Wind energy, solar energy, hydroelectricity, all those things would together constitute 500 gigawatts of energy. India will also meet 50% of its energy requirement with renewable sources. More than 50% of our energy would be coming from, at least 50% of our energy would be coming from renewable sources by 2030. India will reduce its projected carbon emission by 1 billion tons by 2030. Whatever our target was today to be achieved by 2030, our emissions by 2030, we will reduce it by 1 billion ton at least, and India will achieve net zero by 2070. These are the key things that we have announced at COP26. Isme, to achieve all these things, India has demanded certain things from developed country. India has said that in the spirit of climate justice, the developed countries should be providing at least $1 trillion in climate finance to assist the developing countries and those which are most vulnerable. Climate finance, it is like experts say that every year $1 trillion needs to be spent. $1 trillion needs to be spent to fight climate change, to deal with the problems which are emerging because of climate change. UNFCCC had said that these countries, developed countries, will together come up with $100 billion a year. वो $100 billion भी लेके तो नहीं आ रहे हैं, but India has said that we would be working towards these targets if $1 trillion assistance from developed countries come towards developing countries, because the problem has been created by them, the profit has been gained by them, let them also pay for it. Most of the money should come from, at least some money should come from them. Okay, so India has announced these few targets. Now, other things like what has happened at United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, मैंने शायद बहुत डिटेल में आप लोगों को पढ़ाया है. How many of you are there who are only in target prelims program? आप में से कितने लोग हैं? Only in target, like 4 of you only. Rest all of you are from pre-com mains. So you must have studied that climate change, what happened at COP26 in very much detail. I think mains exam से पहले ही पढ़ाया था मैंने, and from that 2 questions were asked in the exam also. November booklet 4 में ना, November booklet 4 में. ठीक है, तो I'm not covering this thing here for now कि what are all the things that have happened at COP26. आप एक बार notes read करिएगा. Plus, when we will come to environment, biodiversity and climate change, by March end, we also target to finish environment, biodiversity and climate change. There, we'll have to do it again. So, to understand what happened at COP26, it would be important to understand the Paris Agreement, the Kyoto Protocol. Only then, when I bring you to what is happening, because in COP26 updates on the previous issues have happened. So I do not want to superficially cover it here. एक बार फिर भी आप read करिएगा and try to understand this. In case you are not able to understand, do not worry. In 20-25 days, we'll be reaching climate change and environment, biodiversity and climate change section. There हम basic से पढ़ेंगे तो आपको clearly समझ में आ जाएगा. Okay, but then there are some international initiatives. At international India's initiative, there are some initiatives that India started at international stage, which are given in Economic Survey of India and are very crucial for your preliminary exam. These 3-4 initiatives and updates on them are something that we would discuss here. First is lifestyle for environment. Lifestyle for environment LIFE initiative, which was in news recently. In November 2021, PM Modi had proposed a one world movement in context of the climate called LIFE. Now, lifestyle for environment, इससे आप समझ सकते हो कि its focus would be on mass movement. Its focus would be on making people aware on how changes in their lifestyle can contribute in our fight against climate change. For example, you switching off your lights when you go out is a small step towards fight against climate change. You preferring to walk if the distance is not very far away is something that will help you fight climate change. I have a flatmate, वो इतना बड़े वाला है, वो हीटर ऑन करता है सर्दियों में, फिर पंखा भी चला लेता है और फिर कम आपको लग रहा होगा सर ये बना रहे नहीं. I have a flatmate who is this stupid. This guy switches on heater, then he'll start the fan और फिर वो कंबल में जाके सोता है. I have told him कि you should not keep your heater switched on at night, you will die someday because of oxygen का कमी की वजह से. सुनते ही नहीं, अपनी चला रखी है. मर्डर का क्यों नाम आएगा, वो अंदर बंद करके मरेगा, है ना. अब भूत ऊत से मैं डरता नहीं हूं. तो there are stupid people like this. अभी कुछ दिनों पहले तक वो हीटर चला के रखते थे, मैं आई एम प्रॉमिसिंग यू 10 दिन बाद वो एसी चलाना शुरू कर देगा. मतलब थोड़ा सा भी डिस्कंफर्ट बर्दाश्त नहीं होता. या इफ यू आर फीलिंग हॉट, रिमूव योर जैकेट, I'll switch on the AC. We have to change this culture. We have to save electricity, save energy. We have to not waste food. Just understand this, when you are wasting some rice, when you are throwing away some rice, that rice has a lot of carbon footprint. To grow that rice, fertilizer was used, उसमें energy use हुआ, water was used, उसमें energy use हुआ. So this LIFE initiative, this movement calls for coming together with collective participation to take lifestyle for environment forward as a campaign and as a mass movement for environmentally conscious lifestyle in the manner that revolutionizes many sectors and diverse areas such as fishing, agriculture, wellness, dietary choices, packaging, housing, hospitality, tourism, clothing, fashion, water management and energy. Everything. They are trying to cover as many areas as possible जहाँ पे their focus is on fighting climate change, making things more efficient and fighting climate change. Then International Solar Alliance, do we all know International Solar Alliance? Some changes have happened, like in November 2021, the Prime Minister launched Joint Green Grid Initiative. It's also called One Sun, One World, One Grid, Joint Green Grid, OSOWOG initiative. What is this initiative? This initiative, One Sun, One World, One Grid, is this, that a sun never sets. Suraj डूब गया, it's a galat way of saying it. It's just that Earth is rotating, sun would be on the one side sometimes, sun would be on the other side sometimes. So solar energy can always be produced. When it's night here, and in India you're not able to produce solar energy, when it's let's say 6 p.m. in India, it's 12:30 in Europe. Their solar energy could be produced. तो वन सन, वन वर्ल्ड, वन ग्रिड. इफ वी आर एबल टू क्रिएट एन इंटरनेशनल ग्रिड जहां एनर्जी फ्रॉम अफ्रीका और फ्रॉम यूरोप would be able to come or would be able to go to other parts, renewable energy would become less variable. Right now solar energy is very variable, रात में पैदा ही नहीं होगा, but it may become less variable. So recently we announced this One Sun, One World, One Grid initiative at the World's Leader Summit in Glasgow. It aims to create a globally interconnected green grid. You can understand the reason. Building upon existing regional grid infrastructure. Already there are regional grids available. Uske upar, using that, we want to create this green grid initiative. A joint GGI OSOWOG secretariat is being planned to be established at the ISA secretariat to mobilize political support and render technical support for the initiative. So this was One World, One Sun, One World, One Grid initiative. Now International Solar Alliance के बारे में आपको पता है. Way back in 2015, 15-16 में कभी International Solar Alliance was announced, where countries जो कि Tropic of Cancer और Tropic of Capricorn के बीच में है and thus get sufficient sunlight, they under International Solar Alliance were supposed to come together and cooperate with each other in promoting solar energy. That was International Solar Alliance. तो International Solar Alliance का secretariat है, वहीं पे One Sun, One World, One Grid का भी initiative चालू हो रहा है. Other than that, there are some other updates. For example, International Solar Alliance has attained a permanent observer status at United Nations General Assembly. International Solar Alliance have also signed an MOU with United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change at COP26 to support ISA membership in developing a roadmap for and implementing their respective NDCs in a effective manner. ISA is also mandated to facilitate mobilization of $1 trillion in solar investment by 2030. And finally, strategic plan of the ISA for 2021-26 identifies three key global issues: energy access, energy security and energy transition. सारी फैक्चुअल चीजें हैं, बस एक बार आप पढ़िएगा, की चीजों को अंडरलाइन कर लीजिएगा. Okay, now come to coalition. So these are all the initiatives which India had initiated. International initiatives initiated by India. Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure. In 2019, this Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure was launched. Name itself will tell you. It's an international grouping which is focused on improving infrastructure so that it is not vulnerable to disaster. The areas which are prone to floods, वहाँ पे flood resistant buildings हो. The areas which are prone to earthquake, वहाँ पे earthquake resistant buildings हो. तो 28 countries and 7 multilateral organizations with several member countries committing to provide tech assistance and financial resources have joined this group. In March 2021, Prime Minister of India, United Kingdom, Italy and Fiji, they launched the third international conference on this. In November 2021, India, UK, Australia, Fiji and Jamaica and Mauritius launched Infrastructure for Resilient Island States, IRIS. This becomes important. Infrastructure for Resilient Island States. This initiative is focused on small island developing states and provide them technical and financial services to make their infrastructure resilient to disasters. And in this case, climate change is also a form of disaster. In this case, making their infrastructure resilient to climate change and disaster events. In this IRIS initiative, India has contributed $10 million and Australia has pledged Australian dollars 10 million and Great Britain has also pledged the pound, Great Britain pound of 7.3 million. CDRI has also launched some other initiative. There is CDRI Global Flagship Report on Climate Resilient Infrastructure, where through this report it tries to highlight the problems in the infrastructure all over the world, which may become more problematic with climate change and its impact. Then it has another initiative called DRI Connect, which is a network of networks. दैट इज ये स्टेक होल्डर्स को कनेक्ट करता है. इट इज एनेबलिंग स्टेक होल्डर्स एक्सेस to knowledge, resource and collaborative opportunities with their peers and other actors. So network of networks within the country, you may have a network for sharing information, connecting with each other. ऐसे अलग अलग नेटवर्क्स को कनेक्ट कर रहा है to get more information in an effective manner. Okay, then we have leadership group for industry transition, lead it group. It was launched by India and Sweden with support of World Economic Forum in 2019. Lead it group, look at this, leadership group for industry transition. Industry को transition करना है कहाँ? Clean energy, efficient. Fighting climate change is the focus. So it is one of the 9 action tracks identified by UN Secretary General to boost climate ambition and action to implement Paris Agreement. In November 2021, a joint ministerial statement released at the Leadership Summit called countries and companies to come out with roadmaps for deep reduction in emission across all heavy industries and value chain in the coming decade. Okay, I think with this we are done with chapter 6 of इकोनॉमिक सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया. अच्छा ये बताइए, कल में चैप्टर 7 पढ़ा हो इकोनॉमिक सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया या साइंस पढ़ा है? साइंस पढ़ते हैं ना. ESI बहुत बोर हो गए. चलिए ESI विल डू नेक्स्ट वीक. टुमारो विल हैव अ बिट लॉन्गर क्लास. मैं कोई एक टॉपिक या तो हेल्थ शुरू करूंगा या न्यूक्लियर साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी शुरू करूंगा, वो पूरा करवाएंगे. जैसे बायोटेक्नोलॉजी में वी हैव ट्राई टू कवर इट कंप्लीटली ना, वो करेंगे. आई नो इंसॉल्वेंसी एंड बैंक्रप्सी कोड हैज नॉट बीन डन, विल डू इट इन कमिंग डेज. कोई एक चैप्टर छोटा सा आएगा, उसके साथ विल डू इंसॉल्वेंसी एंड बैंक्रप्सी कोड. तो ऑलवेज लाइक व्हेनेवर वी हैव क्लास ऑन इकोनॉमिक सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया, ब्रिंग बुकलेट 3 जिसमें हमने चैप्टर 4 को डिस्कस किया है, bring it in the class so that we'll be able to do insolvency and bankruptcy code whenever we have some time. Okay, chaliye. So I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow 11:30 we'll be dealing with science and technology. So tomorrow's class would not be live on YouTube. So for those of you who are watching it on YouTube, कल से science and technology शुरू हो रहा है हमारे target prelims में, तो it will not be live on YouTube. It will be on our portal only. It will be live on portal only. तो आप portal से देख सकते हैं. ठीक है, चलिए. I'll see you tomorrow then. Thank you.